All right. I'm here. I'm here. Sorry for the delay. Thanks for your patience. And let's get right into it. Let's get right into this clown show. So, I haven't watched any of these videos yet. This is my first time. So, I'm looking forward to it. Here's Thomas James, who says AMC will squeeze very soon. Very soon. Shorts just doubled down. All right.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to talk about how the shorts just doubled down on their AMC short position as a last-ditch attempt to try and destroy the movement before the squeeze, which I think will happen very, very soon. So stay tuned and let's make some money.
Right.
Now I want to dive straight in with the key information. So today I want to talk about how the shorts just doubled down on their position, why the major institutions and major banks will soon allow a squeeze.
Oh my God. Jesus. Okay. If it continues to do this, I'm just going to throw in the towel on this stream. That's why I was late. So trying to figure that out. Why the hell it keeps dropping out on OBS connection to YouTube? Hey, Antoinette, Chris, and Manuel. We'll see if we can do this here.
World's first ever short AMC and short GameStop ETF
yeah, we heard about this.
Has just been filed. This way, shorts can have additional indirect short exposure to AMC through shorting an AMC ETF. There's a number of different short ETFs that have been set up for Coinbase, GameStop, AMC, Peloton.
If it's a short ETF, you wouldn't short the ETF. You would buy the ETF, which has inverse exposure to AMC. You wouldn't short the ETF. Like, that makes no sense. It says right here, short coin, short AMC, etc. So just to clarify that.
Robinhood and a number of different stocks. These hedge funds can go long on these ETFs and go short on these ETFs. And obviously if they short these ETFs, it indirectly shorts the underlying stock. With ETFs, rehypothecation can go completely off the scale, and it's not unusual to see an ETF with 600% short interest or even more. I don't think this is going to make a massive amount of difference to the short attacks that we see and the short manipulation that we see on the AMC stock. It's just another way for the shorts to do their shorting. This is technically just another legal way of shorting AMC, but the shorts are already past legally shorting AMC and have been illegally doing it for a long time now. Therefore, this isn't really going to make much of a difference to the manipulation.
So you're an idiot if you accuse people of crimes. I don't care who it is. I don't care what entity it is. You're sitting there saying that there's illegal shorting going on and no evidence has been shown for that. I'm sorry. No evidence has been shown for that. The only evidence is, oh, we own 90% of the float. The price should be higher. This is quadrillion dollars per share.
But it is a
But I mean, in the real world, like, you need evidence. That's all I'm saying.
Shorts to double down and short even more on a legal way. But importantly, this could be a way for the hedge.
And what a dumb assumption to assume that this is going to be used by existing short sellers. Why? Why would you make that assumption? No, they want to make the. Here's another possible explanation. They want to make the joys of shorting AMC available to more market participants, people who don't have margin accounts and can't borrow shares. Yes, and don't want to play with options. So yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Out of that AMC short position via these ETFs, the big short style. This user on Reddit posted saying this is.
No, I don't think he used ETFs, but anyway. I also have some information about the, well, maybe we'll get to it. I can't stream until midnight tonight again. Like, I paid for it today at work. But the phase 6 thing, I did some research on phase 6, and boy, it is less relevant, less applicable than I even thought it was. It's like not at all. But we'll see if we get there.
An endgame position they're setting up right now. This is the means by which others will be made to hold the bag so these major institutions can escape. If you cast your mind back to the Big Short film, where Michael Burry is in his office on the phone to a representative from Goldman Sachs, many times over, Goldman Sachs are telling him that his swaps have not moved and he is still in a massive loss-making position. Michael Burry is really confused because his short position should be increasing in value, but yet it continues to decrease. At this time, Goldman Sachs was still long on the housing market, and therefore they weren't marking his credit default swaps appropriately. But later on down the line, Goldman Sachs and these other major institutions managed to shift their bag of mortgage-backed securities and their bag of credit default swaps until they managed to secure a short position on the housing market as a whole, and then they were free to mark the swaps appropriately. When these major institutions stood to gain and stood to benefit from holding credit default swaps and shorting the housing market, then they could effectively mark the swap positions accurately, and everybody shorting the housing market made money at that point. These major institutions are currently short AMC. They don't want AMC to run and they don't want AMC to squeeze because they will lose billions, if not trillions of dollars, and they will go bankrupt. Therefore, they've started this ETF so they can offload their toxic short position onto unsuspecting retail investors and
It's not how it works. Like, I love how they say this time. They unload the positions. So they're going to take the short positions and somehow roll them into this ETF. These toxic short positions that already exist and are already being held by people, short sellers. They're going to take those and package them into these ETFs and push it off on retail. Or another manifestation of this ridiculously stupid idea is, oh, they hide the share. They hide our orders in the dark pool. They get pushed off to the dark pool. They get I forget what they say. Thrown off to the dark pool, whatever. They get taken to the dark pool. As if, somebody, they back up a truck, they back up an armored car to the loading dock, and they load the fucking thing full of AMC shares, and they take it to the dark pool. Like they took the 9/11 debris away immediately, or something, to Staten Island or wherever the hell they took it. Like that's the impression that I'm getting from this, and that's just so stupid. Model 3 dude. What's up, my friend? I didn't know if you'd make it on such short notice, but hey, this stuff, it's just so ridiculous. It's such a morbid curiosity. All right, we need to
this short ETF
through this
until they secure a net long position on AMC themselves, and then they can allow AMC to squeeze. When these major institutions stand to benefit from the AMC squeeze and not lose money from the squeeze, then they can effectively allow it to squeeze and make loads of money. AMC will still squeeze, but not until these major institutions or these major banks have escaped their short positions by selling this short ETF to unsuspecting retail investors.
Wow. So now, yeah, everything is part of this conspiracy. Now the short ETF is how the banks and institutions are going to offload the short positions to unsuspecting retail investors, and then they can go long on AMC, and then the thing can squeeze. Wow. That's something.
Plans. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to sign up to Moomoo right now. You can currently get 10 free stocks worth of ETFs will be packaged with other perfectly legit ETFs, rated positively by Moody's as a bundle. This bundle of ETFs will be sold off the same way that mortgage-backed securities and
shut up.
Positions won't be short exposure.
I want to hear how the squeeze is coming soon. All right, here we go. Oh, look, he's taking cues from Trey with these goddamn candles. And we're going to get to Trey. Don't worry.
AMC to squeeze. And something that tells me that the AMC squeeze is coming closer is this sign of a breakout, which is the shrinking time between price touches. It says it can be seen as a sign for a possible upcoming breakout when the time between resistance price touches shrinks. You can see the time between the first breakthrough was 13 days, then it reduced to 8 days, and then it reduced to 4 days. Now obviously technical analysis for AMC doesn't really work, but what I do think the AMC chart is showing right now is that shorts are struggling more and more and more to keep control of AMC. If we look at the downward trend on the AMC chart, it first broke through that trend back in June.
Or shorts are covering, causing these run-ups, and they're watching the chart. They know when it touches that resistance. Of course they do. So they're running it up to the... I'm just bullshitting. This is bullshit. Don't take it seriously. They're running it up to that resistance. And the apes are all getting hot and bothered. And then they slam it back down. And then they run it up again and a little higher or a little lower. And then they slam it back down. That's what they're doing. I mean, it's got to be. Like they're playing with the apes, toying with them.
June of 2021. It then rebroke through that trend very briefly in March of 2022, a whole 9 months later. But 5 months after that, right now in August, it's again broken through that downward trend line, and I think the next break through this trend line will be happening much sooner than we all expect.
Oh, really?
I expect us to break through this downward trend line again, either in October or November, which could very much be the next run up, or even potentially the squeeze. If these major institutions can escape their short positions by October and November...
How do you even know that these major institutions have short positions? I mean... How many assumptions can you fit into a 9-minute video? Less than 10 minutes. Everything that you're saying is based on an assumption. That is ridiculous. Yeah, it's these major institutions that are shorting AMC. Right. All the ones that are going to be affected by phase 6, right? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Short ETFs, then I imagine they will allow AMC to squeeze. Now, speaking of that short AMC ETF, the specific name for that ETF
Randall Cornett
ETF is the Tidal ETF Trust 2. The underwriters for this Tidal ETF Trust seem to be Foresight Fund Services. But now what's very, very awkward is the Tidal ETF Trust 2 has just filed with the SEC with Meet Kevin's ETFs. The Tidal ETF Trust 2 has just filed a registration statement with the SEC for the Meet Kevin All-In ETF. The Meet Kevin.
What about your fucking dumbass pumping? Yeah, it's easy to shit on Meet Kevin. I'm not going to do that. Not because I respect him or anything. It's just like, okay, you guys are just as bad, if not worse, than Meet fucking Kevin. No question.
Select ETF and the Meet Kevin Moderate ETF. Therefore, Meet Kevin is clearly associated with the Tidal ETF Trust 2, which is the short ETF. What's the awkward on top of that is that Meet Kevin has been deleting his tweets about AMC and about Ape, and has also deleted his YouTube videos about AMC and Ape as well. Clearly, it's just been exposed that Meet Kevin does indeed have links, associations, and connections to this AMC short ETF. I think this really goes to show why Meet Kevin was trying to convince you to sell your Ape shares. And as Stephen Cooper tweeted, he said the Ape drop proved everything we already know. The amount of malarkey.
Oh, I love when they talk about that too. Oh, this just proves everything we already know. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Jesus.
Is unprecedented. And he said there's no doubt left in my mind that apes were right all along. We knew that synthetic shares existed, we knew that short attacks existed, and what's happened to Ape over the last week?
This is called gaslighting. Right here. This is gaslighting. It's fucking not even good gaslighting.
Week just proves everything we knew was true all along. Jan Jack also tweeted saying this is the perfect 45-degree angle, and that's very meaningful knowing that Ape has not been changing hands. And he said Ape is one of the most illiquid stocks in the stock market. Short sellers wouldn't be able to drive the price down from $10 to $5 in 7 trading days by any legal recourse.
Not true.
Ape stock is showing a perfect 45-degree angle.
Stocks go down because people sell them. You don't know if it's short sellers or if it's long sellers. You can't tell by looking at the chart. You can't. So, and it doesn't matter. It's selling. Without buying pressure to counteract it. So, yeah, I mean, legal means, illegal means, what are you talking about? Like, the way that you make a stock go down is you sell shares, a lot of them. And that, so obviously that's what's happening here. And you can speculate on why or who or what, but I mean, shit, from where we sit, we see a lot of people saying that they're selling their goddamn Ape shares. A lot of people saying they're selling this worthless piece of crap because they didn't get in this to get some novelty stock and to give the company more money so that they can mismanage it and not use it to take care of their obligations like they have for the last 2 fucking years. Okay? Like this is absurd. Absurd.
Decline over the last week due to all the significant Ape manipulation. But guys, be sure to let me know what you think
Ape
down in the comments
manipulation.
below. And as always, guys,
you don't want to know what I fucking think. Oh, you already do, but he doesn't want to know. So here's Trey. Here's Trey. Look at all this crap. 1 day ago, we looked at this. We're going up. We're going up. And then he put out a video 3 hours ago today, or whatever now at this point. Charting cheat code, VPVR, volume profile. And it's actually VRVP, Trey. Visible range volume profile. But whatever. You know, substances do something to your mind. So that's cool. You know, like I said, it's his favorite indicator, his favorite new indicator that his buddy Rico told him about. Next week it'll be something else, for sure. I mean, why don't? Hey Trey, here's a tip, a hint, a pro tip. Why don't you look? Next week, will your favorite indicator be the stochastic indicator, and maybe it will be the slow stochastic indicator, or maybe it'll be the fast one. I don't know, but you should check those out, man. They're cool. You might like them. But now today, we are still going up, and I actually had to look because I didn't even look at this piece of crap today at all. We are still going up. Well, it didn't go up today, so that must be we are still going to go up, is what he means. This is a future tense. We are still going to go up, in his opinion, he says, because today it didn't. And this is the aggregate, the composite symbol, AMC plus APE. It's, you know, I don't know why they just look at AMC. You want to look at the entire equity, I would think. So instead of looking at just AMC, I just type in, you know, AMC plus APE. Then I can see the entire equity of the company. Because who cares about the individual ones at this point? Doesn't really matter. But it's the combined AMC and APE that's going to equal the Moass. You know, I mean, APE might only be worth $1 a share. AMC might be worth $999,999 per share. But so you care about the combination of those two. That gets you to $1 million. But anyway, putting the cart before the horse there. So here's Trey. We are still going up. See what he says. I haven't watched this yet. I'm so curious.
Name of the game today was absolutely fucking boring. what a boring day for AMC. Not necessarily for APE, which we are going to discuss here as we work through the video. I'd also like to spend a little bit of time sort of giving my 2 cents on the APE situation.
Great.
And we're going to look at sort of what things look like. Long story short, as you can see by the title of the video, we're still going up. We are still going up. And today is, honestly, is for the confirmation of that.
So what he means is we are still going to go up because okay. Wow, this looks so much more than AMC. Wow, holy shit. Oh my God. That looks riveting. Let me tell you, that looks riveting. And here's AMC if it'll ever load. Oh geez. Man, this is annoying. Sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell is going on here. But, Jesus. Let's see here. Man, how ridiculous. Okay. Maybe I should, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, 2 cents. I mean, I'm not even, we might get into it, but I don't want to be honest, because it's so ridiculous. I mean, what is the threshold of so ridiculous in this thing? But these conspiracy theories that have been coming out, well, there's the Adam Aaron one with the fucking Patriot Act. And then there's a JFK one. And it's like, okay, you guys have officially jumped the fucking shark. You have jumped the shark. And everything from this point on is literally, it's the Hindenburg. Okay, here we go.
I'm going to go into detail on what I think things are going to be looking like moving forward, what I'm personally going to be watching for moving forward. But today was a good day, and we should just get right into the video, and I'll show you why. Now, we closed down 2.11%. You might be thinking, Trey, by the parameters of red and green, today must have been bad. bad, right? But not necessarily. Everything is about perspective. It's about levels, and it's about how strong something looks sort of compared to a trend. Now, right? We closed down 2.11%. These are the daily candles right here. I'm going to take this away just so you can see what this looks like. You got that bottoming tail. You got a test.
I'm going to turn down the quality too.
Test. You got a touch point. You sort of tickled the pickle of this rising support trend that dates back to the 12th of May, 2022. And every single time that we tap this trend, you watch sort of the following reaction. Boing, doing, boing, doing, boing, doing, boing. You expect a bounce up off this rising support trend. But there's more to it than that. Volume always tells a story. And I always like to say charting is interesting because charting versus investing is a whole different ballgame. See, investing to me is like being able to read a book and enjoy the book as it goes. But trading and sort of being preemptive, trying to chart things, and this is really why I say charting TA, maybe charting is a better word for it. Charting is like trying to guess what's going to take place next in the storybook. And when you're trying to guess what takes place next in the storybook, charting out AMC, what you're really looking for is volume, price, trend, right? What is the price telling us? What's the trend telling us? What is the volume telling us in comparison to what we could see?
Okay, first of all, if you're going to use that analogy, that's a fucking Stephen King horror story, honestly, for a lot of people. So that's not really the best analogy, I guess. But like a story, like you're trying to predict the next part of the story by looking at the chart. Okay, well, let's see how you do that.
Expect moving forward. Today we had a drop off in volume, and I want to show you something pretty peculiar about AMC and why I think it's significant. So something that I always preach about and something I like to talk about is Market Chameleon. Market Chameleon is a website that you can sign up for free. It'll give you historical implied volatility of AMC on any given day, and you can sort of check the historical trend over a 1 year period of time to use more than a year to go 3 years, 5 years maximum. You need to pay for the program, which I don't do, so we get the 1 year right here. Okay. What you'll see is every time we've had a nice launch, implied volatility has been nice and cooled off. We know that IV goes down typically when volatility goes down, which means there's less movement up and down. You get more chop, and also when there's less supply and demand. Typically, when volatility goes down, you see less people playing calls or puts, and this is because you make money on the volatility by going long on call or buy a put. Right? There's not a lot of volatility. You just don't make money. This is how it works. Right? Well, today the lack of volatility, I am of the belief, will cool.
If all you do is buy calls and buy puts, and give most of that money to the option seller and not get it back, let the goddamn shit expire worthless, yeah, maybe. But I mean, shit. There are dozens of option strategies, several of which you can make money with no volatility. You can make money when the stock doesn't move. You can make money when the stock moves up or down. You can make money when the stock moves within a range. I mean, it's not all about buying calls and buying puts. In fact, that's one of the riskiest strategies, option strategies, is just buying calls, long calls, and long puts. And I didn't trade long calls and long puts until after excuse me, I had traded credit spreads and debit spreads for 2 years. So I didn't jump into just buying calls and buying puts. That's stupid, really. I mean, especially for his audience. It's just not, I would never recommend people do that. But anyway, even debit spreads are going to give you a different exposure to the volatility. And something like this, that's not a bad thing. But anyway.
Off that applied volatility. Right now, it's sitting at roughly 138.3%. I expect to come into tomorrow. That data is going to be refreshed. We're going to have a new IV, and I think it's going to be significantly.
Haven't seen Joey lately. Have not seen Joey lately. Are you? Get in here.
And the point of these super low volume, super low volatility days is to grind that volatility, that implied volatility, the IV down. Now check this out. There's actually a pretty interesting trend that's taken place over the previous year, right? Every time we have gotten a local low in terms of volume, what typically comes off that local low volume is a push to the upside. If we were to look at this, right? We got how much volume on the day right here? 24 million, right? This low on volume coming off of sort of this bottoming channel led to a huge crank up. Why is this? Well, if we were to look at sort of this date, we look at 17 March, we pull up the implied volatility calendar. You can come back to 17 March. Wouldn't you know it? That's the day before the bottom on implied volatility. What happens when implied volatility bottoms? We usually see a nice crank to the upside. Here's the difference.
But how do you know it's the bottom? You don't know it's the bottom there. Now you do. You looking at the chart from half a year ago. I mean, half a year after, yeah, you can see that it's the bottom. But up until that point, it was bottoming. So you don't know. You didn't know it was the bottom. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's stupid. But I want to look at something else real quick here. He's talking about 17th of, what, March or April? March, I guess. Okay? 17th of March. Let's go to that. Let's go to daily. By the way, I was playing around with some moving averages. 1348. Give me a break. 12 and 50. 12 and 50. Much better than 13 and 48. Just my opinion. Okay, went back too far. Okay. March, oh, look. Here's March 17th right here. So this is the problem with this bullshit. He's talking about it as if what happened in AMC here, like is anything special. He's talking about this like, oh my God, holy shit, oh. But when you look at the market and you look at the broad market here, you know, yeah, you can see that pretty much right up until fucking the beginning of April, which is right here, and on Trey's video, it's right there. Well, actually, you know, a little bit before. I mean, that looks pretty goddamn similar to me. And basic profile. It runs up, runs up, runs up, then it slams back down. So what he's talking about, you know, is really the correlation that happens when, you know, you have these types of moves in the market, bear market, and everything correlates to one. Everything goes to one, to a, you know, everything ends up correlating. And you get short covering rallies, and it affects everything. And then then the selling resumes, and that's the way it is. So what he's talking about is basically, he's talking about you could replace this with any other stock or an index, and you'd see basically the same thing. You know, it's just so ignorant. This is what happens when you focus on one thing so much that you can't put it in context. You have to put it in context. And to be up one stock's ass so much, a stock that's not performing, a stock for a company that is not performing, it really, I mean, and especially in the face of the reactions that Trey is getting, some of the comments that I've seen in the last few days, why is he doing this? Like, what is his motivation besides making money on his YouTube channel? You know, yesterday I said, how much is Trey getting paid to pump AMC on a daily basis? And you've had 2 days, basically, of AMC doing nothing or going down, and he's still fucking pumping it as if the stock has any indication that it's about to moon. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I mean, he has gone off the deep end. One might say he's jumped the shark. But, you know, I mean, I look at Trey and it's like, to keep with the Happy Days reference, it sounds like I'm listening to Mork here, you know, from another planet, from Ork. What he's saying makes no sense. It's just gobbledygook. Really. It's not really helpful. It's all about the super chat money, huh? Where are the meme buyers? I think retail ran out of money a few months ago. Yeah. He doesn't even have a job from pumping this old pump and dump. Well, he doesn't even need a job, though. I mean, I guess that's debatable. But I wonder, yeah, I really wonder, like, what is his net worth at this point? I wonder if that one of those net worth things will tell us. Probably not. But, I mean, point being here, you know, basically starts at, like, what, March 14th? March 14th right here. Yeah, that's this rally. You know, we could go measure it on AMC. I don't really care to do that. I'm not even measuring the whole thing here, I know, but, you know, it's over 10% in the last half of March. So I lied. I will look at it. Here it is. It's probably more because the price is so low. So yeah, this was the 160%. I mean, you're talking about $12. So anyway, yeah, that was a broad market short covering rally, most likely. It was a broad market rally in any case. Probably a short covering rally based on where things had gotten to. So, yeah.
We look at sort of this date. We look at 17 March. We pull up the implied volatility calendar. You can come back to 17 March. Wouldn't you know it? That's the day before the bottom on implied volatility. What happens when implied volatility bottoms?
And again, how did you know it was you? Now you can look back and say, yeah, that was the bottom. But at the time, I really questioned the fact that you would have been able to tell that. I really questioned that. So, yeah, looking back in time, you can say that. But what use is that going forward? You can't. It's just, yeah, great.
And
it's like KC Shaw's replaying of the GameStop squeeze. Let's replay the GameStop squeeze so that we can learn how to react when this happens again. Okay.
Nice crank to the upside. Here's the difference. We're not quite down at those levels yet, which would tell me we have two options. Either A, the move that we're expecting to the upside is going to be a juke. Could be, right? I'm not betting on that. I still say we are going up. Or B, this is a situation in which market makers may actually lose control over the options.
Of course you think so. Of course you think so. It's in your contract.
Going up. Or B, this is a situation in which market makers may actually lose control over the options chain moving forward for the next couple of days, months, weeks, whatever, right? Let's look at another opportunity. Let's get another example. If we look back here, what you're going to notice is, hey, on 29 July, we had the lowest overall local volume on the x-axis down here. Once we got that local bottom, which, by the way, coincided with sort of that low before a really nice run, you got a nice push up. We come back to that date. The date lines up as 20.
What, beginning of August? Okay. Again, no context. Let's check out the context. I honestly forget. It's been a long month. Okay, yeah, there it is. Right on cue. Right there. So, I mean, what the fuck? And there are some, there are some breaks here. Of course, there always are. Then nothing goes straight up or straight down. And I bet we could say, we'd probably correlate those to those breaks that are in AMC here. But, okay, Trey.
29 July, we look at implied volatility. Wouldn't you know it, 29 July was the absolute bottom on implied volatility. Now, I don't know if today is going to be the local low in terms of volume. We may come into tomorrow, and I see there's a couple different ways this could sort of play out. We could end up getting sort of another chop day. Maybe we trade between $9 and $9.50, maybe between $9.30, $9.50, $9.50, $9.60 even. But I think the launch pad, the area in which we start to get that volatility, you're going to know that we're off to the races, is going to be above 965, 970. Why? The y-axis of volume, which is the VPVR, this is a volume profile volume range, visible profile volume range, right? This tells you where there's pockets and huge amounts of density in terms of volume and established positions. And
visible range volume profile, but I know it's your favorite indicator. It's still getting used to it. Yeah, market makers of the house, they don't lose. And, going along with that, that's why positions are, not positions, but, that's why, at least in the option chain, but that on stocks, they're going to make money on the spread. So they're going to quote you a price that they'll sell it to you for. And they're quoting someone else a price that they'll buy it from them for. And those prices are different, right? And so you're always going to pay a bit of a premium to buy something, and you're going to lose a little bit when you sell it. So market makers make money on that difference. Of course, they're running a lot of volume, so it adds up. And then, in the over on the option side, options market makers are going to hedge in a variety of different ways, not necessarily by buying shares or shorting shares. Could be by buying a call contract, buying a put contract. Okay, that way their exposure mirrors the volatility of the options or the underlying stock. And they're not taking a position in that. They're trying to offset it, actually. So, but at the end of the day, and they still make money on that spread, of course. So at the end of the day, market makers, they don't care which way you go on a position. They're making money if you buy, they're making money if you sell. And they're trying not to lose money by selling options. So, yeah. Good
in
point.
The chart, right? Above that 970 level, you got a pocket. This pocket tells us something. This pocket says, hey, here is a speed line. We have a quick path of little resistance up to roughly 1115 before we hit that next huge volume density area where you expect things to slow down.
That's yeah. I love when they talk about that. Oh, there's no volume, there's no resistance here. It's just going to punch through. Well, if it punches through...
If anything, I think today and maybe tomorrow, if we get another chop day tomorrow, is going to act as a slowdown. Just a slowdown to cool off that IV chain, the implied volatility on the options, so that it can get a little cheaper and market makers can launch that right the fuck back up. But things are looking fine. Boring day. Still riding trends.
That's
still
what
riding
they'll
rises
do.
support,
They'll launch
fading
it right
volume.
back up.
Sellers didn't step in. Think of it as voting power. When you have low voting power, you just don't get that crank, and it shows you, hey, buyers are simply waiting. And if you don't believe me, check this out on the 1 minute chart. All right, into the close. What do you see? Right, whole bunch of fucking nothing here. Chopping wood, chopping wood, chopping wood, chopping wood, chop suey, dude. Low ass volume. Into the close, you get a ramp up. Buyers step in the last 5 minutes. They accumulate.
Yeah, well, he's using a log chart too, so that's what the pros use. But let's be a little bit more realistic. Yeah, that doesn't look like a fucking chop to me. Well, actually, I mean, yeah, he's meaning chop to mean like choppy waters, like that. But I say that it's chop like this is a meat cleaver. This is a sharp edge here. It's a meat cleaver, and it was chopped. It was just literally chopped like that. That's the chop that I see. I don't know. But okay.
They crank price up roughly from 9.
When you use the log scale, yeah, it looks doesn't look as and on a 1 minute chart, you don't really see the overall movement as clearly. But it's only 20 cents down. Yeah, it's only 20 cents down from previous close, but I mean a little bit disingenuous to me.
11 up to a high of 930. It's not a big range, right? But it shows you that buyers are simply waiting. I think that these algos are going to flip bullish.
Because Model 3 dude, because you... because I want to see you holding a meat cleaver in relation to Trey.
Above that point of control, which I view to be like 960 to 970. Above that, I think you very quickly run to about $11. So that's the last piece I got to say about that. We are still going up. AMC is still going up. We look fantastic right now. Ape is an...
I'm sorry, that's a lie. It's either a lie or it's misinformation. It's false. I mean, yeah, what buyers? Short covering. Short covering is going to cause the short squeeze. That's the new catalyst, short covering. I mean, that logically, it's the only thing left. It's the only thing giving
an interesting spot.
Pressure.
Ape has continued to sell off basically since IPO. Its high is at $10.45. Its new all-time low is at $5.18. And what I'm expecting out of this is this channel to eventually crank to the upside.
God damn. I mean, that microphone's got to be covered in slime. What I expect. Jesus, he's such a loudmouth.
Typically, every time it taps this falling resistance line, you can touch the points here on 25 August. You get another tap right here at 29 August. You get a tap today. Every time it's tapped that, it typically comes up to this falling level of
Nose
resistance.
bothering you, Trey? Nose bothering you there, bud?
You can touch the points here on 25 August. You get another tap right here at 29 August. You get a tap today. Every time it's tapped, that typically comes up to this falling level of
what a fucking clown
of resistance, and I expect it to do exactly this. Now, you're probably not interested in hearing this. You're probably asking yourself, Trey, is Ape going to be okay? Is Ape fine? And my very simple answer is yes. And if it's not yes, it has to be, because Ape is the solution to AMC. I have a video that's going to be coming out later today. It's a conversation between myself and AMC Bigums, this guy on Twitter. We had a phenomenal conversation about two topics. One of them was Phase 6, and the other one was Ape. He had a great sort of analogy that I think you can use to represent the idea behind what Ape is and what the purpose of it is. And it's that AMC represents Billy, right? And I can draw this up for you and just give you a sort of an idea. And this isn't my idea. This is coming from Bigum, so let me make that clear. But AMC is a stick figure. And it's the stick
figure yes, I caught that.
Billy, all right? Billy's just minding his business. He's crossing the
That's
street.
What makes me a good trader. I'm just
nowhere,
kidding there.
But
right? I like to be observant.
You got the freaking
I like to notice things.
It's rolling up a million miles an hour. Here's the windshield.
Most
you
definitely.
Got the wheels down here, and it fucking just torques Billy. All right, the bus smokes Billy. It's got the door open. It doesn't even have the freaking stop sign up here. All right, he just gets smoked.
The short thesis clearly was. I think it's stronger now. Honestly, the short thesis is stronger now on this stock than it was back here or any time in 2020, in my opinion, because it's so wildly overvalued. No question. Even at this level, even at $9, the short thesis is strong. Absolutely. It shifted a little bit. It's a bit different of a short thesis than it was in 2020. But I mean, you're looking at a stock that was, in 2018 was barely above the level it's at now. And most of these earnings back here are green, meaning they hit the earnings. So, I mean, it's pissing into the wind at this point, as far as I'm concerned, with this fundamental crap.
Between Bigums and Maya is a pretty solid one. He's got great points. I'll let him talk for most of it. And it's going to be going up on the channel later tonight, so if you'd like to check it out, I think you're going to enjoy it. And he makes some really compelling arguments. So that's a little piece I'd like to add about Ape. If it does break the all-time low, right, if it continues to crank down, what you know is that this is undiscovered waters. VPVR can't help because there's no trading range down here. It's never been traded before. We just kind of have to watch, right? We don't know much about where this can go to the downside in regards to the short term and where things are looking. SPY, and I got a lot of shit for this today in the live stream, in the chat, but I still stand by what I stated. I don't think you're going to see an all-time low on the SPY. I'm going to give you my most bearish scenario. I'm not even going to give you my bullish one. My most bearish scenario goes as such. All right, the SPY right now is setting up for what I think is an insane narrative for an inverse head and shoulders. You got a head. You have a left shoulder right here, which lines up actually so fucking picture perfect with a volume pocket area on the chart. You got a very high speed zone that I think you're going to get some trading range in. I think eventually you're going to get a whole bunch of trading within this 381 to 387 level, where there really hasn't been a lot of established range trading. And it's going to form up a really beautiful right shoulder. And off this right shoulder, let's just say that this happens over the next week or so. You come down to 381, you tap around, come back up. Maybe you test this slowdown level, you chop around a bit, come back up, speed zone up to 407.30, chop wood, come up to the bear trend. These are very possible scenario. In the worst case scenario for the SPY, my most bearish...
All right, I'm done with this. I
don't think it's going to happen. So I'm watching for this. This narrative makes...
A high speed zone. That's interesting language. A high speed zone in relative to Trey. Okay. Let's see if he posted this video about whatever it was he said he was rambling on about. While that's trying to load. So apparently, was her Kristen Bitterly. I'm surprised I remembered that. Was able to pull it out. Kristen Bitterly was back on CNBC this morning, apparently. So, I don't know. I'm guessing that this is that. But this says that's the full thing, so maybe not. Maybe it's not. But maybe it is, actually. I don't know. Well, let's just see, because this was posted today.
I had asked you about the bear market.
Okay, what the fuck? Okay. I guess it is. All right.
I had asked you about the bear market rally that we saw. You started by saying, I still believe it was a bear market. It's a bear market that we're in, and that was a rally. And you started ticking off some reasons for it. And the first one I think you cited was short covering. So at that point, we went to, we had to go to break immediately. I mean, it was unbelievable. But let's just start there. You said one of the reasons is short covering. Expound, please, and go as long as you want about short covering. As long as you want.
Absolutely.
You can go to 7.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Look, my colleague Joe Fiorica actually published a great piece on this, breaking down the rally that we saw off the lows in June and July. He published this at the beginning of August and reasons to remain cautious on it. So the first point, which really gets to this concept of short covering, was there was very bearish positioning that had exacerbated moderately positive news. And that bearish positioning we saw across both institutional clients as well as retail clients. So when we're looking at how bearish the market was, I mean, this was the worst start to the year in history when you look at both equities and fixed tandem by more than 10%. That hasn't happened. You saw a lot of the reports around it was one of the worst starts to the year on record for the 60-40 portfolio. And so U.S. equity futures, when we saw net short positions, they reached their highest levels in over 10 years. So what happened? A lot of people thought that maybe the worst was priced in. Maybe we kind of over.
So I switched to the backup YouTube server, and we'll see if this is any more consistent, or at least doesn't drop out. I mean, it's ridiculous, but
did this sell-off, and that there is some positive news coming, or that we've already priced in the damage that was done from a bear market. So we saw that, and then we saw really resilient Q2 earnings. So we saw resilient Q2 earnings, some top-line revenue growth, which surprised to the upside, and the market took that and continued to rally. I think the one piece, though, and this goes back to what Chair Powell said on Friday and really reiterated, is the fact that people were starting to try to find dovish signals in what the Fed was saying. And we didn't buy that. I think the Fed has been very resolute on what they're doing, why they're doing it, and that they're going to continue on a hawkish.
You know what? The FUD has been, she said Fed, but sounded like FUD, sort of. The FUD has been very resolute. And Manny, that's a good question, but I got some interesting data on that, actually. So we kind of hinted at it last night, but I'll get there after this.
Path. And so I think Friday basically eliminated any of that ambiguity.
So you were just basically saying that players had been set up short with indexes or whatever. It was kind of a generic comment that people were positioned for a market sell-off when it doesn't happen.
People were positioned, expecting it, exactly.
It had nothing to do with meme stocks or short this, short. It was just... I said to someone yesterday that on Market Watch, when they don't know why the market goes up on any given day, they say short covering. Short covering is the most common reason for a market advance that people have been, I've heard it 10,000 times. in my career, I would say. So I don't understand the whole notion, but it's a very good point. People were positioned from June 16th, probably short, and so there was some covering, and that had to do with that. Now, talk about.
And actually, if you look at what you were saying earlier, just in terms of the VIX being relatively muted, right? So when we look at a week like this, and we saw yesterday some continued sell-off, today futures look positive. I mean, paying a lot of credence to the market action that we're seeing this week, right, day over day, you're talking about markets are thin, people are on vacation, and actually patience is required. Investors are in a little bit of a wait and see mode with light volumes, cash on the sidelines, as the market is really awaiting what's going to happen on Friday with jobs data, and also what's going to happen with CPI data on September 13th. So this is a market that requires patience, and I think paying too much attention to some of these day-over-day movements could actually get you into a little bit of trouble.
Yep, agree with all of that. So now this is interesting. So talking about AMC ownership. So let's see here. We looked at this yesterday, and I was surprised at this 34% other ownership. So you know, you've got institutional at 30%, solid 30%, funds at 25%. And insiders still at 6 roughly, but so that only leaves 34% for retail. That's what? How many shares is that? Let's see. 150 million. That seems low. 516. 178 million. And this is based on the file. So, obviously, the apes are holding a lot of synthetic shares, I guess. I don't know. But I was curious how this compared, because I remembered it being in the 50s not that long ago. It absolutely was. So I went to the Wayback Machine, and I saw that this went back a little bit too far, but still, it's interesting to note. So basically, there are 2 captures. Actually, there's some from May. I forgot about those. Didn't load those. So let's load this one. I think this one works. So, oh, that one doesn't work. I always pick the wrong one there. This one, because I've looked at this before actually on previous video, previous channel. So going back the furthest here, I believe. No, this is from February of 2021. So look here, the other or retail ownership was 81.9%. So legitimately, retail owned 80% of the float. Now, the float was smaller then, but not much smaller, but it was. And this is when the institutions really started, you know, look, this is the highest institutional holding was Mudrick at that point, over Vanguard, over BlackRock, over everybody, State Street, Jane, everything. Let's see. So that was February. Then we had... this was from, oh, no, this one. This is from May 7th. You had 78.9. So starting to slip a little bit. Then you've got this one from, nope, this one from July 28th, 66.9. So now you start to see Vanguard loaded up. BlackRock loaded their boat, etc. And then I couldn't find anything. Obviously, there wasn't a capture from 2022. So that's cool. But I did find this article from marketrealist.com. It's from March 2nd of this year. And I don't care about the, you know, it's fact checked. Retail investors own 90% of the float, whatever. I don't care about that. Obviously not, but not true. But so this is from March 2nd again, remember, and it says that others, which are primarily retail investors, and they're using Fidelity's data, that's why I found it, 54.4. So from March 2nd to today, or whenever that changed, it went from 54.4 to 34.6. So that's 20% less. That was a bit shocking. Like, really? I mean, I clearly, yes. I mean, retail investors buy and sell all the time. Not the notion that nobody's selling is absurd. We know this, but you know, you'd see smaller movements. I mean, we're talking about what you're talking about 100 million shares, basically, that's represented by that 20%. So interesting, okay? But I mean, with retail ownership this high, so let's see, back in March, just to compare that, institutional stock was 21.4. Now I realize it says 34.4, but that's what that is that's going to be this combined number here. So that 34.4 is now 55.5. There's your 20%. There's the 20% right there. So, but as far as the single categories, it was 21.4 institutions and 13 funds. Now it's 30 institutions and 25 funds. So if you combine institutions and funds, it's about 20%. There you go. So yeah, I mean, even if the apes aren't selling, even if retail investors aren't selling, which clearly they are based on this data, based on, you know, what we've observed, what people have told us, whatever, based on reality, even if they weren't selling, you know, there's only 178 million supposedly held by retail investors anyway. So there's somebody that's going to be selling, somebody going to sell to them. But I just thought that was interesting because I knew that it was lower than it had been. And then looking at the orders here on Fidelity, and let's see where it came in. It was down here, number 19. Still more buying than selling, at least on orders, in terms of orders. Same with Ape, which was down 14%, by the way. So it looks like a lot of net buying today. Anyway. Okay. So there's your full clip. You know, doesn't appear to be anything conspiratorial, although I'm sure that they say it was. Lies, lies, and more lies. More elaboration and more unnecessary involuntary details. Thanks, Kristen. You've proven everything we've been fighting for. What exactly is that? What is Lucy talking about here? Like, you didn't know that there was short. I mean, that makes no sense. Or are they being ironic here? I mean, pretty much everything she said was true, as far as I can tell, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. So, what the fuck does that prove? Everything proves what they already know. Everything proves what they already know. So it was just a coincidence he cut her off for the reason we've got some issues right after she mentioned shorts covering. Okay. Well, yeah. But see, you don't think it is because you have got this fantasy delusion in your mind all the time. So everything is somehow related to it. Confirmation bias 101. Anybody who knows what confirmation bias is looks at shit like this and it's just like, wow, seriously? You guys are that far up your own asses about this. It's crazy. It's crazy. Excluding institutions, insiders, funds, and family offices, apes own 100% of the float. Right. Why are apes selling and institutions buying? I feel like this is a joke. Setting up for a joke. What's the punchline? Let's see. Go on as long as you want, as long as you don't tell the truth. What I mean, did you listen to what she said? Do you know anything about what's happening? CNBC is terrified of anyone mentioning short covering relating to meme stocks. But she didn't mention meme stocks. Okay? That's the difference. She didn't mention them in the original interview. She didn't. She didn't mention GameStop AMC. The fact that they have to explain shows you the power of the apes. They are completely scared and trying to do damage control. I mean, scared must have a new definition as far as I'm concerned, because the hedge funds are scared. They are apparently scared. I don't know what the alternative definition in alternative fact world is for scared, but as far as the real definition, I don't see that at all. The media thinks we are all dumb. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm not going to touch that one. Notice that there is no explanation as to why they had to interrupt immediately. I mean, they don't talk about technical details and stuff like that on air. They never do. Yeah, basically a bunch of the same comment. I mean, this shows you how original these people are. It's all the same, explaining like a 5-year-old. It's like all the same 5-year-olds commenting here. Seriously. Yes, of course it's so bullish. So bullish. So super bullish. All right, time for Frankie. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Frank. Let me say I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that I say in this video should be used for entertainment purposes only. Whatever I say in this video is my opinion, may not necessarily be factual.
Whatever comes out of my mouth.
In our short squeeze play, it's a mental play. It's a psychological play. You see what I'm saying? And remember, hedge funds, they got people with PhDs in psychology that's been trying to control our mindset. See what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Those PhDs, they never counted on you all being as dumb as you are. Yes, it's true. And they even say it. Oh, let's say this on Reddit all the time. They never counted on us being a bunch of crayon eaters. How many times have you seen that? I know you all have seen it. The PhD, they didn't study that in psychology grad school. I guarantee you they didn't. They probably studied a bunch of other things like personality disorders and, mood disorders and things like that. But I digress. So what I suspect is coming is something like that, maybe less self-deprecating, talking about how, they're flipping the script by doing the opposite of what the fancy smarty pants PhD doctors think they're going to do, because I've heard that a million times too. But, I mean, so far though, you say, well, we have they have a bunch of PhDs, they have a bunch of, cognitive behavioral scientists, whatever, that try to influence yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, I bet you're being influenced more than you think you are, but that's just my speculation.
So you got to have the right mindset if you want to win in this short squeeze play. And believe it or not, we listen to on YouTube, who we listen to on Twitter, can have an effect as to whether we win or lose when it comes to this short squeeze play as individuals. Also, it can have an effect as to how much money we make in this short squeeze play. And see, this video I'm doing, I'm only talking to people that's dedicated to the AMC short squeeze play. I'm talking about our family. I'm not talking to nobody else investing in no kind of stock or nothing like that. I'm talking about the people in our short squeeze play. See, it's no doubt in the AMC community, our short squeeze play, hedge funds have individuals in our community. There's no doubt in my mind they got people in our community. First of all, they got too much money, and they'll be a fool not to have somebody playing in our community.
Too much money.
So whoever
they got too much money, but you're going to sell your AMC shares for how much? But that's not too much money. Wow. That's quite a double standard. One might call that hypocritical. What's too much money? Too much money for them, not too much money for me. It's not too much for me. Of course not. So that's not quite right. Secondly, Frankie needing psychiatric help. Hey, your words, not mine. Your words, not mine. Antoinette. Ask yourself, okay, Scott, do you ever think he has been a leader for or at anything? Probably not. Maybe. A good leader? Ask that question. Supposedly he was a police officer. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm not going to touch that one either. But, take from that what you will. So, I'm just going to highlight Frankie needs psychiatric help again and then leave it right there. But I don't think that, I would say I doubt it. And why, retired or just former? Who knows? It doesn't really matter. But, the reality is he lifts all of his content from other YouTubers. And he just chops it up and regurgitates it to his audience. I haven't traced everything back, but it's all right down the middle of the narrative. So you don't even have to be a leader necessarily, but that's an interesting point though, because he is in that sort of position. Excuse me. But like I kind of mentioned once before, in terms of a cult, this is another mark that I believe supports my inverted cult theory, because even the leaders that exist in this, whatever you want to call it, inverted cult, they're not strong leaders. A cult has a strong leader who, pardon the pun, a cult of personality type of person. If you think of cult leaders, they're charismatic, they're manipulative and personable, and all these things, but they come off as being like good, strong leaders. Really, ultimately they're charlatans and they're manipulative and all these kind of things. But these guys don't even feign being a strong leader. They don't even appear. They don't even have that exterior at all. They just steal from each other and pathetically, like Trey, just regurgitate the same thing over and over and come up with new bullshit reasons. And anybody who actually takes the time to listen to it and has a bit of back knowledge, they realize, oh yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So it doesn't come off as strong at all. Anyway, I'll get more into that eventually. That's going to be my my academic research on this. Not really, but it could be. The most attention he's had in the most attention he has had his entire life. And that could be true also coming from the fact that he was in MLM before. So, selling all natural male enhancement supplements. So I can imagine that was pretty popular, and that he was seen as a thought leader in that particular industry. But yeah, all the Indians are chiefs, and there's no true Scotsman. I don't know. That's not really relevant. I just wanted to say it. Reminded me of it. But okay.
They'll be a fool not to have somebody planted in our community. So whoever they got planted in our community, whether
it's me,
want to call them a shield or somebody on their payroll or whatever it is, whoever they got planted in our community, their job is going to be to create doubt with the short squeeze play. Their job is going to try to convince us to sell early, to panic sell.
See,
and
this,
to get into
this
other
is another
plays.
problem. When you present anything that is contrary to belief, anything that's different from what you believe and what you're preaching, as being FUD, as trying to convince you to do something, when in reality, no. Some of us care about the truth and looking at things objectively and being evidence-based. Is there evidence to support it? Yes? Okay, that has veracity. Is there no evidence? No, there is no evidence. Okay, that's unsubstantiated. We're not going to take it seriously. We're not going to make important decisions based on that. That's not trying to get anybody to sell. It's not trying to get anybody to do anything except realize that, there are other sides. There are different aspects, different ways to look at things that are different from the way. It's just so ignorant. So by his logic, I mean, this is quite narcissistic, actually. Anything that's not what he's saying is, it's not just wrong. It's actually maliciously trying to manipulate you. The irony is that's exactly what they're doing. So it's just garbage. It's fucking garbage.
They're going to create confusion in the community. They're going to try to get us to sell low. And they're going to want us to think confusion. That the Moass is not going to happen.
Well, I mean, if you're confused by information and opinions, maybe you shouldn't be, I'll quote Keenan, get out of the kitchen. I mean, that's the reality. Nobody's going to feed you all good information. You have to be discerning. You have to be able to take in information from different sources and put it all together and make an intelligent decision. But these people have just been listening to these goddamn pumpers for the better part of 2 years, who are ultra bullish all the time, super bullish. Bullish, bullish, bullish. Nothing bad ever happens, even if the price goes down. Oh, it's bullish. I mean that's, it's absurd. What do you do with those lips? Strike.
Whoever the hedge funds got working in our community, their job is to wear you down. It's just that simple. And see, hedge funds are not going to choose just anybody. They're going to choose an individual that has influence in the community. It makes no sense for them to choose somebody that don't have influence. And see, our mission in this short squeeze play has always been, we buy and we hold until we crush hedge funds and make life-changing wealth. And so what? We added 8 to the play. Okay, we added 8 to the family. It makes no difference. The same thing apply to 8. We buy and we hold 8 and AMC until we make life-changing money, until we squeeze. You see what I'm saying? That's the mission.
I don't want to offend, and this is how you know that this channel is a bit different than last year's channel. But the whole thing is a bit different than it was last year. Like last year, I had to be a bit more of a shock jock to get people to notice and get people to pay attention. Now, it's not that, what I'm saying is not that absurd. It's not that outlandish. More people see it, and so I don't have to be so crass and, shock jockey. Locker room. I don't have to use as much locker room talk, so to speak. But, so I don't want to offend. I don't want to offend anybody, who might happen to be, a God-fearing, church-going person. But and I was raised in the Catholic faith, and I'm a recovering Catholic now. So I've been around I've been in churches, a lot in my life. And I don't have a problem with the message, of love your neighbor and, treat people with respect and all these kind of things. No problem with that, obviously. But, the fundamentalist approach to that, or the faith-based healing type stuff. I'm not going to take my kid who got stung by 48 bee stings. I'm not going to take her or him to the doctor. We're just going to pray, and we're going to pray to God that He heal our son or daughter. We're going to reject science and evidence-based medicine. Okay, that's what this is. That is what this is, and I don't think shouldn't be offensive to anybody. If this is offensive to anybody, then I'm sorry. Not sorry. But if you wouldn't take your sick child to the doctor because you were going to sit there and wait for life-changing, well, and I know I'm crossing them there, but that was intentional. Or if all you have to do is buy and hold, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to like make any hard decisions. All you have to do is buy and hold. When your kid got stung by 48 bees. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We're going to buy and hold until we get life-changing wealth. Okay? So you're basically praying. You're basically just sitting there hoping. Make it actively happen. That's the point. Yeah. Didn't really come out as eloquently as I wanted it to, but, you know, talking about religion and stuff can get weird. But, I mean, you know, let's just be honest that there are fanatics in anything. And that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a fanatic. We're dealing with a faith-based healer. Someone who believes in, you know, spirit, what do they call it? What is that called? The energy healing. Yeah, that's it. Energy healing. Things for which there is no actual evidence. I don't see how it's that much different. I really don't. Okay.
That's the goal. Nothing has changed just because we added 8 to the family. And here's the thing, man. If you got somebody in our community that's pushing a narrative saying that, well, we need to sell AMC or we need to sell 8, get into other plays and make money and get back into AMC, that person either work for the hedge funds.
No.
Or they simply don't have our best interests at heart.
Oh, really? Your best interest is to hold on to a ship that is going down. It's taking on water. And they're coming after you with a life raft and a life preserver. And they're trying to get you to come on the life raft. And you're sitting there saying, you know, no, God is going to save me. I know God's going to save me. Your best interest is to preserve your capital, plain and simple. If that means getting out of a trade that's bad, that's what it means. You know, God damn. Oh, that's a good point, actually, Model 3 dude. You mean not going to seek modern medicine to cure your cancer, but instead eat plants like Steve Jobs. Man, that's a perfect example. And that's a perfect example of how even somebody who is generally seen as being like super intelligent, visionary, changed the world. If you know Bill Burr, he changed the world. The world was one way. And then Steve Jobs came. And then it was another. Great routine. Bill Burr on Steve Jobs. But he got all your music, all those albums, all those vinyl albums to fit this little thing in your pocket. It's amazing. But he also, you know, didn't seek medical care for his cancer, and he died. So, yeah, it's a good point, you know. And I guess that's how you could say, like, yeah, there's probably some highly educated people in this too, you know, that have fallen for the trap. Nobody can predict the time of the Moass, but if you have faith, you will experience it when you least expect it. Oh, I love that. Yes, the Moass, the Ken Griffin, Kenny G works in mysterious ways. You know, you can't. Nobody knows the hour. No, nobody knows the day or the hour when the Lord will come back. It's true. Nobody does. But, if you have faith and, you know, you live out the commandments and, you know, all those things, whenever it happens, you will be prepared for it. It's like dance like nobody's looking. Well, do the right thing when nobody's looking, and then Jesus happens to be around the corner. It'd be like, hey, come on, let's go. Good, but yeah, back to Frankie. Like, oh man, it's not even about so much even about him. It's just this garbage. Like it. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Either way it go, they toxic, and we need to detox from them because that's never been the mission.
Hey, there's another unscientific thing, another pseudoscience, bit of pseudoscience. Detox. They all like to talk about toxins. Not much generic toxins. Yep.
It's never been what this play is about. This play has never been about we sell AMC, we don't sell APE, we don't get into other plays and try to jump back in. So like I say, either that person work, he or she or whoever it is, either they work for hedge funds, man, or they got some type of personal motive, but that person need to be detoxed from, when it comes to our community. You see what I'm saying?
So what he's saying is go get yourself a jar of colon blow and go to town.
In conclusion,
or maybe do a coffee enema. Do a coffee enema.
No, I've been in this play long enough now, over a year and a half. I know this. So if you run to somebody's website because you're trying to find out when this short squeeze play going to happen, you're wasting your time. Nobody knows squeeze play knows. The only thing we can do is diamond hand. You see what I'm saying? And have patience and wait for this thing to squeeze. That's all we can do. So,
oh my God. No, it's totally it. That totally is. Diamond hand is that's analogous to having faith in Jesus, returning and saving everything, fixing everything. Wow. I mean, I'm sure I've thought about that before, but for some reason, it just makes a lot more sense right now, somehow. Interesting.
Man, let me say this. I want to send a shout out to the individual, man, that I think that's been loyal to this short squeeze play.
Scotty Allen. Hey, thanks, Frankie. I know. My name's coming up here.
They've been switching sides, man. They've been loyal to the play. This is just how I feel. I want to send a shout out to Phil for
Scott
real,
Allen.
Al from Boston, Ape Nation Will, Common Sense Investor,
oh my
Scavenger,
God.
Tony De Niro, Massalorian, Boss Blunts, AMC Bigums, AB Investment, A Father, Kingdom Grace, George Donahue, Daniel Haddock, Tended Times, and Owning the Flow. I want to send a shout out to those guys, man. I appreciate the content that y'all put out there. And before I close, let me say this. If you watch my video and you got offended by what I said in this video, I'm going to say it just like Malcolm said. If you got like Malcolm X said, if you got a pack of dogs.
Here we go. Man, this guy, this guy's got some problems. I'll tell you that.
You throw a rock in that pack of dogs.
He didn't mention TMI, did he?
The only dog
or did he?
that's going to holler is the dog that get hit with the rock. So if you watch my video and you got offended by something that I said in this video,
but that's not true.
Then you got to ask yourself the question, why did you get offended? Thank you for taking time out to watch the video. Have a nice day.
Well, I don't even think that's true. I think it's a bad quote. But anyway, whatever. I don't want to run the risk of being labeled anything because, you can't have an opinion without people making an assumption. You can't state a fact without people assuming, oh, you're your shill. You work for the hedge funds. You want me to sell. No, I don't care if you fucking sell. Don't sell for all I fucking care. Hold on to that goddamn share for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter to me. I don't give a fuck. I don't. Let's see. There was something that was going to be looked at. Shit. Billions of synthetics. FTD cover swaps. Oh, I love the narrative of swaps. The 12 profits. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, there's definitely some comparison to be made between that, all that stuff. So the whole ISDA thing, it pretty much applies to swaps, for as far as I can tell. I read the documentation on it. I don't see how it has anything to do with AMC. And there's only a limited number of actual swaps dealers, and they're like the prime brokers. So I don't even really want to touch it. Let's see. There were some things put into Telegram here. Let's see. I opened that up. I thought it was trillions of synthetics. Well, according to Manny, it's $quadrillion per share. I don't know if that was real or if he just made that up being funny. I happen to actually believe that he probably did not make it up. Maybe he did, but this is the Malcolm X quote was taken out of context. I mean, imagine that. Imagine that. These clowns taking a quote out of context. No. You're kidding. You're kidding. Let's see. Breaking news for AMC from Scavenger. All right, let's see what he's got to say here. Scavenger. Bad Back's favorite. It is entertaining. I'll tell you that. It is entertaining. I mean, but it's like in like a morbid curiosity kind of way.
Oh my God.
Boy, it's going to be one of those videos. One of those, like, I'm laughing because I'm so smug, because I'm so full of myself. I love those. Let's see here.
Oh my God, you guys. I have breaking fucking news for everybody that's at AMC. One of the biggest comments I get on my YouTube channel is they can keep shorting this. Wall Street has unlimited money. This is great. That means this thing can go to unlimited numbers because they have unlimited money. So everybody that didn't think a $quadrillion per share was possible, let's
there
fucking
it
go,
is.
because you heard it from the shills and haters and bots themselves. Wall Street has unlimited fucking money. I fucking knew I was missing something.
Not muted. I'm not muted. No, I'm not muted.
Hey guys, it's Jackson Hunter. I'm
hey
back
guys,
with
it's
another
Jackson
AMC
Hunter.
stock.
I just sell my last shirt, so I hope you like my ink. I spent a lot of money on it because I thought it was cool, and I'm going to be rich though, so I can buy a new shirt.
Update today is Tuesday, August 30th. Please hit the like button. Please smash that subscribe button. I love and appreciate you all. AMC stock on the day down 2.11% on a volume of 24 million.
I like it.
The day at $9.27
No, I don't like it.
I
like
per
it.
share.
Nah,
Then you
I
got
don't like it.
8 AMC preferred equity unit down
I don't like it.
14.19% on a volume of 16 million. That ended the day at $5.20. If you add those two together, you got $14.47. Down a good amount from
Whoa,
AMC's
he's got a bookcase and pictures now. Oh, interesting. He's and still got the popcorn ceiling.
The dividend value, which was about, I don't know, $19 or $20. Check out the 15-minute chart right here. Each candle is 15 minutes. So started off the day up here, 9:59, went all the way down to 9:30 in 15 minutes. Did this kind of rounded bottom pattern and then ended the day with some momentum and some decent volume. But check
Rounded
it out.
bottom
This is not
pattern.
financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do not make investments based on what I say.
Yeah, rounded bottom. Okay.
in my content. SPY was pretty.
Yeah, we got an apple bottom pattern here.
Big red, down 1.1%, ending the day at 398, hitting an intraday low of 396. I tweeted out a few weeks ago that I saw red in the short term for SPY, and it came true. So I called that out at 420.
You are the market oracle.
So right around there, and it's gone down 24.
Let's put you in an algo, buddy. Sell you
$4 since then. So the reason I talk about SPY is because the overall market went down, and there's a reason for that. So technically, it's in this downward channel, and middle of August, it hit the top of that downward channel. It hit resistance. Okay, so it was pretty obvious. It had some technical patterns of a reversal to the downside. It was very obvious to see. Overbought on the RSI on the daily and all that. And then today, the big news. Remember, stocks move on three things.
Yeah, I don't know why they do this. I don't know why they show a fucking Google stock chart. I do not know why. It's annoying. It's lazy. Let me just Google it.
And breaking news. So today had breaking news. It was also moving off the technicals of hitting that top side of the downward.
He skipped the book map. He didn't show the book map. I don't think. No, he didn't show the book map. The most useful thing, the most interesting and unique thing that he has. You know what? The trial period probably ran out.
Channel, but Taiwan fires warning shots at unidentified drone near islands, and then the U.S. readies $1.1 billion arms sale of missiles radar to Taiwan. We're slanging $1 billion of guns and military paraphernalia to Taiwan. That's insane, dude. Do you know how many people you could feed with $1 billion? How many people you could get off the streets with $1 billion? How many people you could get clean from drugs and alcohol for $1 billion? How many people that just need money for diapers, for paying their rent, for all that, with $1 billion? That's insane, dude. That's insane.
You know what's also insane? The fact that the United States is selling them to Taiwan, according to this headline. So, yeah, it's insane. What the fuck? I mean, how unaware do you have to be to say something like this? Dude, do you know how many people like me you could take off the streets and buy shirts for? And do you know how many trays we could save from drugs? It says they're selling them. You know what happens when you... No, actually, he doesn't know what selling means. That makes total sense now. That means that you give somebody gives you money and you give them something else in return. Like, I don't know, you give somebody your stocks and then you get money for them. So we need to have, I guess, a primer on selling, what that actually means in a transaction. But I mean, come on, dude. I mean, the fucking clown meme fits with this one too.
Honestly, I have no clue what's going on in Taiwan, and don't care to learn, to be honest. But the U.S. readying $1 billion for an arms sale of missiles and radar to Taiwan. That's insane.
It comes back on, and it's got a high bit rate. So that's weird. I don't know. OBS sucks. Sometimes. But, God, apologize for that. Okay.
So it will have the impact of a share count or unique dividend many of you have sought. Hashtag today we bounce. Today is 26 days later. I would love to see a share count. CEO Adam Aaron, you probably don't watch my videos, but if you do, or if any of my viewers know him better than I do,
Manny knows him.
Let us know, man. Is there a share count? Is it coming? What form will it come in? You know, I suspected the FTDs on APE would equal naked shorts on AMC. That will take about 30 days from today.
Lynn. Yeah, did you see who was on that thumbnail? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's clear, but I had fun with that one. You know, there's nothing more satisfying than after a long day of work, come home and make a thumbnail for this bullshit. Anyway.
Actually, for those FTDs to be reported, but
FTDs.
I would love to see a share count. It's been 26 days. Yeah, I think it's definitely necessary. Check this out right here. If you guys want to get up to 13 free stocks, all you gotta do is click the link in my description below. It's through Moomoo, wonderful broker that does not engage in payment for order flow. All you gotta do is open a brokerage account to get one stock, deposit $100 to trade with.
Okay, so that's it. He's already on to his promotional. At least he puts it at the end. I got to give him credit on that. At least he puts it at the end instead of at the beginning. So, all right. Well, I don't want to push my luck with the connection here, but we do have, let's see, something in Telegram. Okay, so we got Chris Norland and we got this one. Oh, and then there's also a Tasty Trade video too. It's relevant, I think. So I mean, I actually did watch that one, but so this one, Chris, Tasty Trade, and done. That's my plan. Oh, and of course it goes fucking zero. Oh my God. Give me a break. Give me a break. Oh my God. How ridiculous.
Boy, I just sold 3.
Okay. Maybe.
359 shares of 8. That shit hurt. But you know, I gotta do what I gotta do, you know what I mean? AMC, I still got some. Boy, I just sold 359 shares of 8. That shit hurt. But you know, I gotta do what I gotta do, you know what I mean?
She's making her YouTube
AMC,
debut back there.
I still got some.
So there's somebody selling ape. Yep. That is an ape seller. Okay, let's see. Chris has been killing it lately. To be honest with you, he's been killing it. And this appears to be no different. This better not be copyrighted, this song. Oh, this is from May. Oh, okay. I actually remember this video.
So we're here talking about AMC stock in an AMC theater. We just got out of Top Gun. It's a lot of fun if you like movies.
Hope you didn't get bed bugs.
And you like Tom Cruise, you want to go check this out. Also, too, if you're new here, my name is Chris. I was a professor for about 10 years. This is all to help you grow your account and grow your mind. So what the heck is going on with AMC today? It had a bit of a run, right? So you got to be thinking about exit strategy with these kind of things. Now, we talked about this before. You want to check the RSI. It was about a week ago, I told you the RSI under 30, if you want to get in this thing, that would be the time to buy. When we were recording this, RSI was around 45. I don't know the exact one because we're at the movie theater. But if this is going to run into next week, RSI goes above 70, you got to seriously think about getting out. Now, I don't know how high it's going to go. I don't know how much it's going to run, but
listen to him shilling, trying to get people to sell. Oh my God. Yeah, today's video was good. I'm not going to play it because it's very similar to everything we've said. And I mean that in the most endearing way. But where is it? I Am a Liar right here. I think this is the one that Model 3 Dude's talking about. You can see that I did watch it. I watched it on the way home from work. So that's a good one. Now, it's okay. It's all right, Manny. No worries. No worries. Graham Stephan and FTX Crypto in trouble for misleading. Does he have anything about Meet Kevin, the latest Meet Kevin drama? I don't believe so. I'm sure he will. See, the thing about Chris is that you meant to send this one. We can watch it then. Well, we'll watch it then. Antoinette didn't watch it. So when I reconnected, I can see the chat, but I can't put it on the screen. So that's why. The thing about Chris is he says that he, is trying to, his audience is, retail investors. He's trying to educate retail investors on all this stuff. Whereas I'm not really interested in educating people because I know they're not going to listen to me anyway. I want to just call out the grifters, correct the record, look at what they're saying, and correct it. If people want to listen, that's fine. If they don't want to listen, that's also fine. I don't care. My goal is not to change people's mind and make them save money on AMC shares or anything. I simply want to look at the grifters, the narrative, the pumpers, and try to understand, try to get inside their head. For whatever reason, I guess it's just interesting to me or something. But anyway, here we go. I'm a liar. I'm a liar. Yeah, he did.
Hey everyone, this is Chris. Welcome back to the channel. So just want to have a chat with you, AMC apes, regarding AMC. Here's the truth.
I love the music
I've been telling you guys the whole time. I've been trying to warn you about AMC. The reality is they have just a ton of debt. It's like $5.5 billion in debt, and they're losing like $800 million a year. So it was always going to end this way, where the stock is basically going to go down to basically
and Antoinette, and he mentions that you're going to like
nothing. And you've been donating your money to either help Adam Aaron get rich, either help AMC pay off their debt, or help YouTubers make money off of you. And
bingo.
It's unfortunate because YouTubers out there, be it your Treys, be it your Lou, be it your Roche Capital, be it your Mask Investor Dude, be it your Angelo, be it Finance News. There's like all these idiots out there just basically lie to you every single day. And it's gotten so bad that it's hard to tell if someone is a liar or just flat out stupid. An example, there was a YouTube channel a while ago. I never mentioned on, but I just mentioned it to you now. They were talking about me, and
there we go. Bit rate 0. Oh, 3 kilobits per second. Yay. As one of the things that I've debated is, are these guys idiots? Are they uninformed, or are they, intentionally misleading people? And I think clearly now, like a year and change later, looking at it, I can say definitively that some are, and some are. Some are just ignorant. They should not be talking about this stuff. They just don't know what they're talking about. They may be engaging in fraud, but it's more like misinformation and negligence. But there absolutely are people who should know better, Trey being one of them, and he is a fraudster. There's no question in my mind that he knows that a lot of what he says is not true. That, there's a lot of evidence for that, but a big piece of it is like the fact that he made a lot of money on trading AMC options last year, and the way that we found out about it was on Benzinga. So he was ashamed. He didn't want to tell his community that, and that is not a good look. So there are some people who are ignorant. There are some people who are legitimately grifters, scammers, and it's both. But it is an interesting question. It's a weird dichotomy. And there's some overlap.
This is a true story. For those of you who watch my channel, you'll know I don't just make just random stuff up.
Yeah, you do.
There was a channel saying,
"Oh, Chris, you're so
Chris
dumb."
Guy, he showed these numbers, and it looked like, man, he was really good at faking a spreadsheet and really good at faking numbers on AMC. Man, that looked good. But I know he's a liar. Like what? Like what? Like it got so bad that again, these people are either flat out liars or just really that dumb. I was showing financial statements of AMC and showing all the debt and showing that they're losing money. And there's people out there that don't even believe real numbers that are put out by a public company regarding their financials. This is how bad the AMC things has gotten, is that people don't even believe real numbers coming out about AMC. And I just don't know what to say. And I remember watching this, I'm like, are these people really that dumb? That they would think I would fake a whole website and fake financial statements. Like
you know why they think that? And, this is an interesting opportunity to mention this, but, I don't have any proof, but I mean, based on the fact that somebody thought that Chris faked a website and made a fraudulent document to use as support, that tells me that there is a greater than 50% chance that at least some of the shit that you see on Reddit every day, all these bullshit posts, these bullshit posts, it's not going to load, but all the bullshit posts and any quotes by people and just random shit, that tells me that there's probably a greater than 51% chance that some of that is fraudulent, because the apes they're not like that sophisticated in terms of like wearing, in terms of their psychology. Like they're easily influenced, and they don't hold back. So the fact that somebody would say that tells me that it's on their mind, and because they probably, maybe they've done it, maybe they've seen somebody, whatever. But I bet that they have, like, all those screenshots of, I have this many shares, or your portfolio, or your loss or gain or whatever. I have no doubt that some of that shit is absolutely fake. But it's hilarious that one thing that, that I don't think anybody would, yeah, people have faked financial statements, but like retail investor faking a financial statement to pump or dump a stock, yeah, I don't think so. You don't need to. You don't have to. You don't have to fake it.
Why would I even need to bother do that? AMC has like $5 billion in debt, and they're losing money every year. It's just, movie theaters are not a profitable business. That's one. Two, AMC took a big hit during the pandemic. So you put the two together. You take a hit from the pandemic. That's not a profitable business. They were losing money even a couple years before the pandemic. And I've showed these numbers several times on the channel, and people all keep saying, oh, Chris, you're so dumb. This isn't about numbers. This isn't about AMC's debt. This is about a movement and something special. I'm like,
all right, Ariel.
Right. I mean, I guess so.
Ariel,
and it's been like this for like.
Is that Sepco? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I've started to think this whole AMC thing is getting a little delusional, but these people are truly a cult. Never sell. Isn't that the whole fucking point of the market? Buy and sell. Fuck's sake. Glad there are others who think like me. Well, welcome. It's nice to have you. And yeah, we think it's delusional. We think it's a cult. It's a weird cult. It's an inverted cult, is my term for it, because the leadership is like real sketchy and kind of non-existent, and the community feeds off of itself, and everything's kind of just turned on its head. It's not a very good cult. What was that one? Well, anyway, but it is the point of the market is to buy and it's buy relatively low and sell higher, or sell high, short sell high and buy back low. Whichever way you want to do it, there's no problems. But yeah, AMC ain't going nowhere. Fat man. They say fat man. And these poor suckers literally bought into it hook, line, sinker. Yeah, and it's one of the old. It's like, I don't know if it's not the oldest scam, but it's the oldest scam. It's the oldest trick in the book. Tell somebody that they can get rich. Well, what do I have to do? Oh, well, you just have to do this passive thing that doesn't require any effort or thinking. And I'll tell you, all you have to do is buy and hold this, and you'll be rich. Well, who can pass that up? So yeah, I mean, it's basic. It's a basic thing, and yeah, they are poor suckers. I'm not going to sit here and bash people individually necessarily. I mean, it happens, but I mean, the YouTubers, yes, it's open season on the YouTubers, because that's the problem in my eyes. That's the problem, is that you have this group of people, the 12 disciples here, who it expanded from the Kansas 5 to the 12 disciples of AMC, who are continually putting out information that's bullish. And it's like, no stock is ever 100% bullish. And if you say anything that's not super bullish, you're a shill and you're trying to get people to sell. I don't care if people sell. In fact, I don't want the apes to sell. Let me be clear. Let me just come right out and say, I want you all to hold it to fucking zero. I do. I want the apes to hold it to zero, and I want to see your meltdown when you realize what the fuck you did. I mean, honestly. But I don't care about any individual person. It doesn't matter to me. People lose money in the market every day. I mean, I lose money in the market almost every day. Not today, but a lot, because that's the way it is. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. There's no shame in admitting that you screwed up. And hey, I thought it was something. It turned out to be something else. But at least a lot of people can say, hey, I got into it. I thought it was going to be this, but it wasn't. But I made a little bit of money. I made a little bit of money. I didn't put everything into it. I didn't risk more than I could afford to lose. No, they can't say that. A lot of them can't say that. And they still think that over a year later, with the economy where it's at, with interest rates going up, with the market where it's at, all these things, that somehow these stocks could do what they did last year and then some. It is delusional. It is delusional. It is 100% delusional. It's a fantasy. It's not based in reality. It's not substantiated by any fact. Model 3 dude's going to count me down to a meltdown here if I don't, I'm losing it. So I'm going to continue with Chris here.
3 months, and
I'm
I
going to
think
speed him up a
people
little
really
bit,
are
though.
that dumb, and I just don't know what to say, and I try to help, and and I get it that new investors, maybe you're 18, 19, and you believe a dude with tats and gold chains that he really gets the stock market, or you believe a guy who is convicted felony of fraud, a convicted fraudster, you believe he's telling the truth. It's like, what is going on? But the reality is this thing basically ended with the whole issuance of Ape. If you don't understand, basically they split the stock, and Ape, they created out of thin air, and they can dilute that thing whenever they want, and it's basically going to be worthless. Again, AMC has a ton of debt, and they got to keep issuing more stock to sell on the market to essentially, pay off their debt. That's just the way it is. You owe money. If they don't want to get bankrupt, they got to raise more money to pay their debt. And the other problem is they're in a business that just doesn't generate cash. They lose money. So they're in debt. They lose money. That's always been the whole story. Now, the other thing that's been a big problem with this whole thing is because these basically scammy YouTube people have been pushing fake narratives on you and false narratives for people who are new to the market and don't understand. So one of the fake narratives, essentially, shorts haven't covered and they have to cover, and you'll stay forever. The truth is, shorts don't have to do anything. That's the truth. They don't have to do anything.
This is a good.
If you short sell a stock, for some of you may never have done it, it's the same as going long in stock. You don't have to cover. However, here's a however. You might have to cover if the price skyrockets to crazy levels, because essentially how this thing works.
We've
is,
said, and I'm not trying
stock,
to toot my own horn or anything, because this is all common sense. I'm not doing anything here. This is like, I am not doing anything here. Like I'm. This is so. I don't want to say obvious, because for reasons, but this is like, it's classic. It's predictable. But what he's saying here, I mean, I just want to echo this, because we've said the same thing about what is this catalyst?
You sell it on the market, right? Eventually, got to buy it back. Now, if the price goes way too high, the brokerage, right, where you borrowed it from, essentially starts to get nervous. They start to get really, really nervous. However, the price of AMC stock had really skyrocketed to where the shorts
to help keep me from throwing up into my trash can. help keep me, yeah. It's no. Venting is good, and we love hearing people's stories about keeping with the kind of the theme of what we've been talking about on the stream, like their come to Jesus moment, so to speak, like, and it should be a learning experience, and like that is, it's really cool to see people who I didn't know anything about the market, and I got into this, and now I know more, like legitimately, not like the apes think they know more, like they've learned so much, they're so smart now. but like, yeah, you should be able to see this. Like if you're an adult, which you have to be kind of to be like have a brokerage account, you should learn and grow and like you should not think what you thought last year or 2 years ago. I mean, who does that when it comes to something like this, when the world's changing and turning all the time? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So it's awesome. I'm glad you're here.
Being forced to cover. They don't have to do anything. And that's just sort of the false narrative is like, oh, well, shorts haven't covered, therefore I'm going to stay. But the thing is, if shorts are in the green, the same way, like, for example, when your stock goes in the green when you go long, you actually don't have to sell. Now, you should sell, right? Because you'd be an idiot not to, but I get it. You don't have to sell. The same way, though, that shorts don't necessarily have to cover. Like, they could be in the green now and they just don't have to cover. And they can hold it as long as they want, as long as they're willing to pay the fees. And so that's been a false narrative for a long time that people just don't understand that. The other issue, too, people have said, oh, Chris, what about all the utilization stuff? What about these, fake shares and naked selling and all that kind of stuff? I mean, if you find evidence of that, please let me know.
Boom.
One of the things is Adam Aarons tweeted out a couple times that there's no evidence of these things, and that's a problem. Like, even the CEO of the company is like, there's no evidence for this, and that's all I have to say. There's no evidence of it. So, it's like saying, hey, Chris, aliens exist. I believe aliens exist, and they say, fine, show me the evidence. That's all I have to say, and it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. The other issue is, too, as well, in order to make money in the market. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes you can trade and you can, get in things, get in and out things. But the big problem with the AMC, there's just all these new people in the market thinking
Antoinette's talking about 3-card Monty or a shell game. It seems like. So, yeah, you had something that cover things up, and it's variations on that, 3-card Monty shell game, and you mix them all around, and you see them put the ball under one cup, and then you mix them all up, and you got to follow them with your eyes, and usually there are in the good scams of that. There's a shill. There's an actual shill in the audience. Like I paid Lynn or Antoinette to play the game, demonstrate, and they win. They guess the correct one, and it's like, oh yeah, I can do this. You do it straight. You actually you allow them to follow it, and the paid off person guesses correctly, and the audience member also guessed the same one, so they got confidence now. Yeah, I could do that. And then they're like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'll put some money on that. And then that's when they run the scam, and a variety of different ways of doing that. But basically, they take your money. So it's that we it's a good analogy, and it's fascinating. And if you want to see some real good 3-card Monty, look up a dude on YouTube. In fact, maybe we'll even pull up a video here in a minute, but his name's Daniel Roy. I think he's the best card magician on YouTube. He's amazing. Yeah, Daniel Roy. Really good. But it's like, how in the hell did you do that? Oh my God. I've slowed the videos down to 25%, and I still can't get. Yeah, it's crazy.
You're just gonna hold this bankrupt movie theater stock forever, and it's gonna like go to the moon, and that's been the language. Oh, hold forever. No, it doesn't really work that way. It's like you gotta sell sometime, right? Buy low, sell high, and there's just too many people out there that just didn't know what they were doing, to be perfectly honest. And the other issue with AMC is too, which is also a big problem, is this idea that it's going to be life-changing money. I stated very clearly, it was about 3 weeks ago. Showed you the calculator, showed you the exact top where it was going to be, ended up being right to the penny. And people, still hold on belief that it's going to go back up. I mean, maybe it does, but it just doesn't look good. The AMC's got a ton of debt. I believe after the ape thing, the ape part of the AMC just keeps going down because people know this thing's worthless. That's just the way it is. And I know this will get a lot of hate. There'll be people out there that'll be, saying, oh, corruption. I mean, if you want to take that attitude, you can. Here's the deal. You put money in, basically gambling into a company that's going bankrupt, that's losing money, that has a bunch of debt. What do you think is going to happen? And, you're listening to people who probably just got in the market last year for the first time, or 2 years ago for the first time. And you know, I you know, you guys may or may not know, I'm pushing 50. I started trading back in the dot-com bubble back in 2000. So I've been in this game
I don't believe that.
I've seen this kind of nonsense before.
Oh, Chris, you're so dumb. You're not
nonsense
50
again. But you know, this particular thing is really sad because on YouTube, people just feed lies all the time. And like I said, there's a lot of new people in the market that just don't know what to do, and they think that these things are going to recover. And they act like they can't read a stock chart, right? It's clearly going down. And you know,
That's
do what
bullish,
you like with
man.
your money. If you want to watch all your money go to zero, you know, go for it. Be my guest. But the reality is that, you know, this has never been a great scenario for you, right? It ran up to 72 and that was it. It's not going back to those levels ever again. And, you know, the other thing is too, is that, I don't know, some people just think that they understand that the debt is real, or just think I'm just making random stuff up. There's people out there that understand this is real, guys, is that when a movie like, say, Top Gun or Avatar or whatever, when they, you know, release to the box office and they release the movies out in the movie theaters, the movie theater does not get 100% of the box office. Do you understand? When, say, Tom Cruise and Paramount and you know, I think Skydance is his production company, when they release a movie, AMC does not get all that money. It's divided up into, you know, lots of people. Actors get money, and the director gets money, and different production houses get money, and the studios get money, right? AMC just gets a small portion of that. And sometimes people are like, oh, I just don't know. Ticket sales are through the roof. Why isn't AMC getting tons of money? Like, you understand there's multiple people that in this game. And so some of these, you know, fundamental things of like AMC's got debt. AMC doesn't make a ton of money. There's streaming services out now that eat away at movie theaters and all of these factors. And it's just sad. You know, and one of the things I really recommend for you is that when you think about the stock market, think about investing in companies that actually make money, think about investing in companies that pay a dividend, and you can do well. But I really get it, man, and I really get it. When you see these crazy Bed Bath & Beyonds and AMCs, right, you think you can double your money every single day, and maybe someone out there can, maybe someone with inside information can figure it out. But generally speaking, for the average person who's reading stuff on Reddit or listening to these YouTubers with the tats and the gold chains, it's just not reliable information.
Is that a young Matt Stoner?
And these people are either stupid or they're lying to you, and I don't know which one it is. You can tell me which one it is. I'd love to hear about it. But, you know, I just want to have a real talk with you. I don't want you to lose all of your money. That's why I've been warning you guys for a long time about these things. But I get it. There's some people who still leave these false narrative that it's going to go to the moon. But I'm just here to tell you, after the whole ape thing,
you're here to rain on the parade.
Stuff,
I get it.
It's pretty much over after that. There's really no hope. Anyone who thinks there is flat out lying to you. It's written in there. I've made videos about this. AMC can issue any more ape shares whenever they want. They don't need your vote. They don't need you. They can issue those.
But
things
it'll be
whenever
good
they
for the
want,
company.
And they can dilute that, which basically already AMC's been cut in half with the ape thing, and they can just keep whittling it down. So, you know, the actual value of this thing, it's just not worth anything because the company has too much debt and they're not profitable. So you could argue the stock is worth, like, you know, $1 or something, but. You know, do what you want to do. You know, there might be pops here and there, but overall, the overall trend will be down because the market is down. Plus, AMC stock is worthless. So, good luck to y'all. I just wanted to make this video just so you can understand that
it's worthless.
Real. And
just
I'm
like
sure
the
that
fucking all the call options that the apes bought in high implied volatility environments. I did not mean to click on that. And they all bought in high implied volatility environments because people like Trey misinformed them on how options work and how implied volatility works and when it's a good idea to buy long call options. And they held on to them, believing that, oh, it's this week. Yeah, let me buy weekly options for this week. It's this week the squeeze. And it never is, and you hold it until expiration, and it literally expires worthless. And I'm not even shitting you. We've dug into time and sales data on options, and we've seen the prints of call options with a zero bid, meaning you could not sell it back to the market. It's already worthless, but you could buy it. It has a $1 ask, a 1 cent ask, and a zero bid, and we've seen people buying them at 3:30 on a Friday when they expired in 30 minutes. We've seen that. I'm not even shitting you. I probably got the screenshot somewhere of the time and sales, but that shit blows my mind. It blows my mind. All right, so here's some 3-card Monty. It's a short video, so it's literally a short.
Today I'm going to show you why.
Oop, loud. This is Daniel Roy. You got to check this guy out.
You should never play the old game of 3-card Monty. It uses 2 identical cards, 2 aces of clubs, and the queen of diamonds. This is the money card, the card to follow. The operator will toss that money card down and then show you that these cards here are both black. Then he'll mix the cards like so, and usually people bet on the end over here, and of course they're wrong because the money card is over on this end. Now sometimes the operator will gesture to the 2 other cards and say, don't bet on these, bet on the money card, and accidentally bend up the corner of the money card, appearing not to notice. He'll remind you, don't bet on this card here, don't bet on this card here, instead focus on the money card. This time, of course, he's going to mix the lead because he knows that you're going to bet where the bent corner is. And of course, you'll be wrong because the money card is in the center. Today, I'm going to show you why you should never play the old...
There you go. Hard to win that. Okay, so let me get this last video here. I was very surprised to see this today. And I have to skip past some bullshit at the beginning because, you know, it's Tasty Trade. They always bullshit. It's okay. But let's see here where I watched it. Yep, here it is. CNBC's short seller conspiracy explained by the Tasty Trade guys. And then, yeah, this will be, I think it was like 4 minutes in. 4 minutes of BS at the beginning. You got to love that. Just see.
It's not necessarily like, you know, he's not the smoothest person.
Okay, so it's a little before this.
I believe a lot of this rally started with short covering. She goes on and he goes, hold on, I'm going to have to stop you there. We got to go to break, or I got to take it to the next show, whatever. We'll have you back on to have the conversation. Okay. Boom, it's done. If you know how TV works and TV production works, and you know Joe Kernan's not necessarily like, you know, he's not the smoothest person in the world, or most delicate, let me say it like that. No disrespect.
He's not the most delicate.
Not the most delicate.
He's not the most delicate.
You know that, like, that's...
He's no Sosnoff when it comes to being delicate. I mean, Sosnoff is delicate. You want to watch a true, delicate gentleman, you watch Sosnoff.
Like, Tony runs a smooth ship here. I know you think it's all you, but he keeps the splits, he gives the transitions, he gets you in and out of your segments. He's smooth with it. Not everybody is that smooth. Thank you very much.
Yada, yada, yada.
Thank you very much. But, so anyways, that's end of story. If you know how TV production works, it's end of story. A little bit of a hand-fisted transition.
Okay.
The internet takes this thing and they go crazy over it.
Crazy over what?
The story is that this woman was about to tell the truth.
The inside
she
scoop.
was going to tell...
Just because she said, I think it's some short covering?
That it was fueled by short covering. That she was going to tell the people the truth, and that some Illuminati figure is like, cut the feed and get this off the television.
I'm confused by one thing.
What?
So somebody somewhere thinks that because somebody said it's a little bit of short covering.
Yeah, that she was going to tell the truth, and that this media network doesn't want the people to know the truth, so they cut the feed.
Why would they care?
It went. First of all, how would they know?
How
but
would
the point
she know?
is,
I've been doing this for 40 years. You can tell me when it's short covering. I mean, the thought is, hey, I think they're a little long here, so they sold them. Or hey, I think they're a little short here, so it's short covering. But nobody knows.
The point is that I think there's two things happening out there.
And let me point out too that we looked at this last night, and I said, okay, well, let's see if CNBC ever talked about short covering before. Search for CNBC short covering, and yeah, there's a couple came up right at the top of guests on CNBC segments talking about short covering rallies. So, I mean, and like this year even. So, I mean, the notion that like they're not going to allow somebody to talk. And I will say they don't talk about it a lot. They don't talk about it a lot by any stretch as much as these guys do. but they definitely like we saw examples. So anyway.
They do not understand the short seller or the role or the function.
This is right here. This is really what I wanted to, take a look at and show. Boss Blunts just went live. All right, well, see you guys. I'm gonna go there.
The short seller, the meme stocks phenomenon. And sort of the core of it is taking advantage of what they feel like is naked short selling in the marketplace, that all shorts are evil, death to the shorts, whatever. And it's just taken on this mind of its own that all shorts are evil, and they don't understand. So now anything that has to do with short selling is this salacious topic, and it went viral yesterday. And to me, it's like, I don't think people respect the role that everybody plays in this financial ecosystem. The short seller is important. The pension fund is important. The HFT is important. The retail investor is important.
Yeah.
But all the articles you hear or some of the narratives
Do you think it's because it's being sensationalized?
100%. You can get clicks and views for sensationalizing this narrative.
We have a system that works. And the reason it works, it's because it's almost like saying, hey, do you think we'd be better off without lions? Like we're going on, like you're going on a safari, you're watching it or whatever, and you're like, do you think we'd be better off without lions? Because they're like,
we don't need them in the car.
Well, they're the king of the jungle, but get rid of the lions and everybody will be more peaceful. I'm not sure that I'm not sure that anybody realizes that the reason the ecosystem works the way it does and it's so good is because everything has its place. Like, you don't realize when the market starts selling off, like it did on Friday, the only buyers are
shorts covering.
Shorts covering. Longs don't buy stock on the way down. Shorts do. And on the way up, like sometimes shorts are forced to cover, but most of the time you can blame any rally you want on short covering, but rarely is a rally short covering. I mean, at least that's my experience.
So
Katie Stockton could have been a Katie Stockton.
I think that was it. Yeah. I think that was it. Actually, yes. Thank you for doing that.
No, it was Kristen.
I guess the thing that
Kristen Bitterly,
I'm most curious about to get your take on is if anything illegal is happening in the marketplace, front running, all of that stuff
to us,
all that stuff that should not be happening. We should find out the bad actors in the market and take them away. But there's a blanket feeling or sentiment that seems to be sweeping through retail traders' minds that shorts are just inherently negative for the ecosystem. And I think it's important to clarify just how much of a good function. I mean, let's go back and let's think about.
That was my whole point with the lions.
I know, I got it.
It's shorts
and vultures cure. Scott Sheridan once told me that vultures are the ones that rid the environment of carcass. They remove the disease. Like, everything is important to an ecosystem and it serves an important purpose. And like the idea that, like, remember, Nikola came out and was effectively defrauding people, right? Luck and Coffee was defrauding people. There's a financial incentive to find out when people are lying or over exaggerating or taking a company in a bad strategic direction. And that downward force creates risk. It creates truth and transparency. And if anyone's doing anything illegal, that is a problem. But just the idea that people are taking negative bets against a company is a good function of a marketplace.
Well, of course, because it keeps the bets honest on every level. I mean, just like you said, it's actually healthy. I think that what we're facing is probably a bigger crisis.
What do you mean?
Well, you know what I mean.
I do.
Because what's happened to us is that in the last, 6 or 7 years, we've become a place where there's so much divisiveness and there's so much lying and untruths and so much ethical so many ethical questions that it's spilling over into everything. And it's a little bit sad. And it's so far it hasn't disrupted our market structure, But like the idea that you're questioning
But the meme
short
stocks
selling without
sure
even really
came
knowing what
close.
short selling is, or without even, I mean,
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm just thinking about it in the case of Joe Kernan saying, you know, if that's really how this whole thing was, you know, like, hey, we got to go to break. What would be negative about short covering causing a rally?
That's the point.
That's the whole thing. Like, wouldn't that be exactly what you want if you're a conspiracy theorist who thinks that short sellers are bad?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you want the short sellers to panic, cover up 700 points higher?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny you mention this now because I got a couple of emails overnight that asked me about, was this a short selling rally? Was this a short covering rally? And I was thinking to myself, why do people ask that? Like, who cares? but I'm trying to figure it out, you know, like what inspired that question? Because first of all,
who sells to the short covering? That's my question. Like, it's just another trade. It's just another.
It's just a price.
It's just a price. It doesn't have to be somebody who's long already. It could be somebody who has something on the other side. Somebody could be long ABC, sells DEF. I mean, who sells to the short covering? And if everybody knows it's short covering, who sells at all?
Well, I have a better question for you. So you miss, you know, you want to buy a house, and we're in a housing bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you reach 6 people are paying over what a house gets listed at. Is that short covering? Because to me, that's short covering.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you right now you're trying to buy a new Tesla, and they tell you it's a 1 year wait, and you got to pay $20,000 over sticker, whatever it is.
Sure.
That's short covering.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else is it?
But also, isn't there's also another thing here where it's sort of bad mentality to get into a belief system.
Here we go.
Of course.
If you are out
it
there
is.
and your motivation is not to mitigate risk and look for risk-reward opportunities, that you feel like you like the odds. If your objective is to crush the shorts, you have a motive that can potentially cause you to get over your skis or take risks that doesn't make sense or not think objectively. A belief system. Same thing with crypto. When you believe that crypto is going...
What does that mean? What does that mean? So this reminds me of something by, I forget the guy's name, Carlo Cipolla, The 5 Basic Laws of Human Stupidity. And it's really fascinating. Let's see if I can find an image. So this is really good. And what he's saying reminds me of that to a T. So let's see here. Pull this in to Wikipedia. So here it is. So this is the stupidity matrix. So, you know, on the y-axis, up and down, you've got this is like doing things that benefit others at the top. That's the positive, or doing things as the negative at the bottom. And then the x-axis, left to right, you've got things that cause losses to themselves that people do that hurt themselves. And then you have things that people do that benefit themselves. So you can have the different combinations. So if you do things that don't cause anything to happen, then you're ineffectual. You're right in the middle. And if you do things to benefit others and things that benefit yourself, then by this theory, you're intelligent. If you do things that benefit others but cause losses to yourself, like, you know, you don't take care of yourself first kind of thing, then you're helpless. If you do things that cause benefits to themselves but losses to others, like you're stealing, then they call that a bandit. And ultimately here, if you do things that cause losses to others and that cause losses to yourself, that is the definition of a stupid person. And this is right where I see the apes. They're right in here. They're fucking themselves over, and they think, well, their intention is to fuck other people over, like the short sellers, right? Whether they're effective at that, it's probably more like up here in the middle. But yeah, I mean, that's not a good place to do stuff from, basically. But it just reminded me of that. I think it's fascinating. It's pretty interesting. Anyway,
going to 100,000. It is going to make you rich. It's going to be your escape mechanism. The belief system can crowd your object riches or take risks that if your objective is to crush the shorts, you have a motive that can potentially cause you to get over your skis or take risks that doesn't make sense or not think objectively. A belief system. Same thing with crypto. When you believe that crypto is going to 100,000, it is going to make you rich, it's going to be your escape mechanism, the belief system can crowd your objectivity and your respect of the risk in the marketplace. And there's more and more belief systems that are like, I'm not going to go into politics, whatever, ESG, all these things.
Sure.
All of these things can create kind of momentum in one direction or another without just being objective about the financial world around you.
Yeah, it's the objectivity that's missing. It's so you go to craps table and you bet the don't, right? Somebody bets the don't. You say, I hate that guy, but I don't care these bet the don't, because you don't for 1 second believe that he has any influence on what's going to happen.
I like that analogy.
Like you're sitting there going, he or she is an idiot because they're betting the don't, because it's anti-American, it's anti-everybody else sitting at the table. You're betting against everybody else at the table. But not one person thinks that them betting the don't has any impact on what's going to happen. They don't go, oh, that guy bet the don't, so this game's fixed. How crazy!
As he wins too, like God forbid he wins.
And if he wins one because he's supposed to win one, okay, you don't. Nobody says, "Oh my God, this game is rigged." That's the sad part.
Yeah,
like we're no longer. We can't accept, and I mean, I'm not going to go there, but we can't accept an election loss, which happens all over now, and we can't accept losing. So all of a sudden we need to make up a reason. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So the market rallies and sure, so it's short covering. Who cares?
Right.
I don't care.
It's also indicative that people are not. You guys talk a lot about being like product agnostic. And in a way, directionally agnostic. If there's opportunity one direction or another, you're just neutral. You're selling vol. You're selling fear.
Yes.
I think that's a healthy way to look at the world as well, right? Like sometimes things get they rotate too far in one direction, and generally speaking, you see the pendulum swing back and forth. And I don't know, like the idea that many people are net long, it sort of prevents them from being able to participate in opportunities where you say, hey, this looks long. Apple at 180 seems extended. It's a good company. Maybe they're going to sell lots of phones. They got the new phone coming out, but maybe 180 isn't the best place to take a bet. And that's okay to have that type of multi-directional opinion. Sometimes that'll get you in trouble because Apple goes from 180 to 220, and who knows? Sure. But sometimes that's a bad risk-reward bet. And that's all short sellers are doing. That they're looking at the world and saying, where is there too much optimism? In the same way, I can look at everybody out there that looks at a 17 multiple in the S&P, and they're like, they're too expensive here, but if they get to 3,200, I'm buying them. Right. I don't care what's happening. If they get to 3,200, I'm buying with both hands. Well, it works both directions. Risk and reward becomes skewed in both directions, and the short sellers provide a function to this market.
Man, I love Victor Jones. I do like him, and it's funny because I didn't always like him, but man, he and I are like the same age, and yeah, I don't know. I just like him. I love him. But yeah, like you hear the apes say that stuff. Oh, if it gets, I'm going to buy more, but I'm going to once it gets down below 10, I'm going to buy more with both hands. Okay? Like do not see the irony there. The ultimate irony is they never do. They say that, but they never do. Price goes down and the volume also goes down. So they don't jump in and buy because they can't jump in at way too high a price last year and this year to be effective. So yeah, love it.
The broader narrative right now is skewed in a weird direction that does not make sense. And I hope that people don't get caught up and wrapped up in it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all.
There is, since the day we hit the trading floor, however many decades ago, conceptually, like the difference between long or short it never like there's no difference. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, when you're the counterparty, there was no difference. So for us, it's never registered. So like when people talk about things like why did this thing do this or why did this happen, like it's impossible for it to register with us because we don't care. Because
exactly,
it makes absolutely no difference.
But it's easy for you to say that because you've been a quote-unquote insider. A lot of people have never been
What do you mean
an
by
insider.
that?
You've been a market maker. I mean, it doesn't get any closer to being to the analogy of an insider than that. I mean, you are the they. They bought, they sold, they got the money. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. He was a they. I wasn't they. You were the where it started and ended the ball, the snowball, wherever it went. You were the one that was on the other side of that trade. And everybody always thinks that you know something. You don't know anything other than you're trying to take this trade and make it into something else. Or you have an opinion on the market and you do something like this. We didn't even have TVs. We didn't have computers. We didn't have anything to look at except the guy or gal standing next to us when we made a trade. Does this sound good? Yeah, it seems good. I mean, like it was so fundamentally just price. It had nothing to do with anything else that people don't understand that. They always think they're always looking for where did I get taken as opposed to where's the opportunity.
What's even crazier about it is the whole short selling discussion.
What?
Is that we had a...
It's expensive to short sell.
We had
so most retail investors don't do it.
We had a 700-point rally, right, from 3,600 to 4,300. We sell back off to 4,000. What rally are they referring to? The rally last Thursday, that 50-point rally?
No, I think the whole thing.
The whole thing. So we rally 700 points. We sell back off 300 points, and now they're asking the question: is this a short selling rally? Like from what? From 3,600 to 4,300, from 3,600 to 4,000. Like, what rally are you talking about? Like, I just don't get. You know, why would it matter to anybody what any rally is based off of?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. At the end of the day, you just go. You either believe one of two things. I wrote this yesterday. You either believe that they've de-risked this market so much that over time you have a favorable long-term odds of success. You either believe that, or you believe the downside is going to be limited by that de-risked multiple.
Yeah.
Or you believe the upside is capped by the Federal Reserve, who wants to lean on any strength, and that as liquidity dries up, the velocity of risk to the downside, the risk that something could happen that creates velocity of risk to the downside is in play, and you want to participate in that velocity of risk move to the downside. You believe one of those two things. Everything else doesn't really matter right now. It doesn't really matter. You either believe upside is capped, or they de-risked them so much that you've got decent enough long-term reward, and you just buy them, and nobody knows anything.
I know, but the whole thing is like, so if you have a short covering rally, right? What's happening? Somebody that was short has changed their mind. How's that any different from somebody that wasn't in a stock that decided to buy it? I just don't. I don't even understand. So all I can think of is the person that wrote that, because I don't think that's what Joe Kernan was thinking for 1 second. So I think the person.
And by the way, I might be wrong, but I think they had her back on this morning to finish the conversation.
Yeah, he said it was just a time restraint.
Yeah,
they ran long, which is what we would have believed.
You've got somebody in your ear. You know how TV works, and you know you can get bumped up against time. Hey, I got to cut this in.
I'm sure that's what it was, but the public doesn't think that that's what it is. That that's too simple of an answer.
No. It's not the fact that somebody wrote that and questioned it. It's the fact that somebody believed it. Somebody else believed it. Like, people write stupid stuff all the time. That's what I love about like TikTok and social media, is all the idiotic stuff. That's the most fun. You're looking around, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe how stupid we are as a society. That's the fun part.
Oh, come on.
No, you
don't believe that. You have an optimistic view of the future in this country.
I have a really optimistic view, but I love that. It's comedy for me.
Yeah.
Like, old comedy might have been, I got to watch, Rodney Dangerfield cracking a bunch of one-liners. New comedy is I got to watch people, it's like people watching. It's an advanced degree of people watching. But, it's that other people believe that there's something there. That's what I, I'm shocked about.
Yeah.
You know, it's like here. I'll go back to my dice
sells
example.
soap, though.
I know,
That's the
but I'm
point.
gonna go back
It
to my
sells
dice
clicks
example.
and views.
Oh my God, you know, you're hot, Victor. Blow on the dice. You know, like that's gonna matter. You know, or I gotta start holding them with her. You know, they're both. I'm holding, you know, snake eyes or something when I roll them. Whatever it is, it's like, you know, listen, I hate the fact that we've become a society of conspiracy bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Like I feel bad for our kid. Like I don't worry about you. I worry about your kids.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think it sucks if that, you know, because it sucks to live in a world where nobody believes.
Yeah, it's critical thinking
Amen.
more than anything else.
Yeah, critical thinking, right.
But I think we'll get there. It's just weird. We're in a weird time right now. But I thought it was important, and I'm not trying to big up any other network or anything like that, but I saw it and I was like, this is weird. This is weird that this is going viral. Yeah. This is weird that there's this much mistrust in a marketplace. Because if you don't trust the market, what do you have?
It's not just the market. It's much more society, and it's much more about role models and things like that. And, you know, listen, we go through these cycles. Yeah. We will go through these cycles again, and
Trump.
You know, everything.
Sorry, did we go too deep? This wasn't really light.
No,
this wasn't light and fluffy like it normally is.
We like light and fluffy. Hey, Sunday night was good conversation. I liked it too.
I enjoyed it. I haven't stopped thinking about it. You're living rent free in my head. I'm terrified of my position, but luckily it's small, so I don't care.
Well, you know, they rallied up huge this morning. Now they've sold off huge.
Even the S&P down 10, NASDAQ down 23.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to take a quick 90-second break? We'll come back. We've got a market measure next.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I know I said this is the last one, but Manuel put in Matt Kohrs, so we have to look at what he says here. And I think he said that he thinks he's talking about Trey. So talking about Trey is better than let Trey talk. I'll tell you that. I think this is about anyway, whatever.
Like, it's fucking insane. And I said double down on AMC. And they're like, you're a sellout shit. Like, right now, this loud minority, it is running Reddit on Twitter. And then the people who maybe actually know about the situation and have something constructive to add to the dialogue, they're like, dude, fuck it. It's not worth it. Because as soon as you say something that isn't pure hopium, everyone freaks out. Everyone freaks out. And I think most creators have kind of been like, wait, hang on, like, let's kind of keep the guardrails on here and let's say things that make sense. And then there's other people who we all know exclusively play into the hopium.
So
every single day, it's just
that's the part that's talking about Trey.
random shit that makes no sense. They hear a couple words and they're like, all right, dark pools and shorts and swaps. And if I put that all together and I just say Citadel
Swaps.
and they're fucking us and like to the moon.
Swaps is a reference to AMC Bigums. That fucking moron.
It works out and it's great, but it's bullshit. That's not how you actually win. I feel like this has gone from a group of people who had a legitimate gripe, and we still do, of like, wait, should this be happening in Wall Street? What's going on with maybe the
And here's where he goes back into his bullshit, right? Like the tasty guys were saying, like, you have a bunch of people who are, you know, Karens about short selling, essentially. They didn't say that, but I'm saying it. Karens about short selling who don't understand short selling. They don't understand short selling. They think, oh, these guys are trying to bankrupt all these companies. They want them to go away. No.
Reporting of FTDs. Why do we get those reports so late? Why are they not there? What's going on with PDT? How do you have a short interest over 100%? Is it legal that Robinhood and other brokers took away the buy button?
Yes, it's legal.
Those were all very factual things that were backed up by evidence and also backed up by...
Well, I mean, they were things that happened, yes, and they were backed up by the fact that they happened. But what's also backed up by fact is, like, no, none of it was anything. None of it amounted to anything. What it amounted to was you all were new, and I'm not, you know, I mean this for nobody here, but, you know, you all were new in the market and you thought you knew everything about it because you watched some stuff on YouTube and read some stuff on Reddit. And that's fine. But at some point you have to realize, hey, you know what? There's a lot I don't know. And you have to realize that you have to know that there are things you don't know, And if you don't know what you don't know, then that's the worst spot to be in, because you're going to end up looking like a clown, like literally like this guy. You're going to end up looking exactly like this. That's Trey. And you're going to make yourself look like a total fool, talking about stuff that's not substantiated by fact, misinterpreting facts, XYZ, ABC, all that stuff. So,
experts looking into the situation and saying, all right, that's not right.
But then what happened to those experts? Where's Dave Lauer? Oh, he set up a fucking change.org petition and started some kind of retail information site or something. He's gonna charge people for. Right. He scammed the apes too. He absolutely did. And he blocked me on Twitter because I called him out. And I said, yeah, you are capitalizing on this just like these guys are. 100%. So what happened to him? What happened to Wes Christian? What happened to Lucy Commissar? What happened to all these people? What happened to these supposed experts? What happened to Charles Payne? What happened to whoever? No, they used you just like the goddamn people like Matt Coles and Trey and all the guys, the 12 disciples, just like them, essentially. Because they actually know that there's nothing here. There's no smoke, there's no fire. He's, it's like he's halfway in, halfway out. He's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's on the fence. I mean, it's the vibe I'm getting here. Like, he's, like the minute that I'm like, oh, wow, Matt's actually making kind of some sense. Yeah, then he pulls the rug. God dang it.
And then all of a sudden, it feels like the community is drifting away from that. And a lot of them are just like sycophants for like a fucking CEO or some dude in a suit. Like, it's actually like a part. And like, I know, and I want to stress this a lot, that this is a very small vocal minority, but then we're like this interview is almost referring to the entire ape movement. And that's embarrassing.
Did Wes really get disbarred? Is that true? Are you Trey and me there?
Because the people who overreacted, and they're like, fuck it, man. She was about to tell us all the truths of what Citadel's doing with shorts. Like, and you cut her off and you knew she was about to say it. That's embarrassing. That's not where it was going. Watch the full interview. Like, I even did it in mine. I was like, oh, like, what do you think? And like kind of playing like tongue in cheek into the conspiracy side of these people. But she was talking about the overall market. It wasn't even a reference to what was going on with the ape.
It wasn't. Okay. Credit where credit's due. He's right. They didn't talk about meme stocks. And you could go back to last summer, and you could go back to the Naked Shorts video by Melissa Lee, which I've done. I did it on my old channel, did it on this channel. We looked at it. They're not talking about Naked Shorts. If you watch it in context, they're not talking about Naked Shorts at all. It does not confirm what you already knew. What it does confirm is that you don't know how to pay attention. And that's, I say that all the time. These people want to come in here and they want to argue and they want to debate. And it's like, no, we're past that. I'm not here to debate anything. What I'm, so if that's why, you're here, then you got it wrong. But if you are here, then like, just listen for once. Just listen. Don't tell me what you think you know. Just listen and try to get something from it. And maybe you think that, we're full of shit. That's your right. But I mean, just, God, we haven't had that in a while, thankfully, I don't think. Or if we did, I forgot about it already. But, it's not a free speech zone. I like to say that too. Not a free speech zone. And we're pretty fucking lax. We're pretty goddamn lax. But that ape nonsense, you got dozens of other channels where they can go spew that shit. Like, there's got, It's got to be rules.
Apes. I don't know. Like, I very much hope the group within the ape community who's legitimately trying to learn about the market, hopefully making some money, and actually transform the market into a better market, because I truly believe it's the best vehicle for wealth creation that mankind has ever created. Of course, I want to protect it and make it better.
Well, I mean, real estate, that's where you need to be. But, you know, Matt is, you know, yeah, it's just like so hit or miss with Matt. It's like, it's like, yeah, because I know that he made $500,000 in super chats last year. So I can't get that. And by the way, like, I don't think anybody else was even aware of that last year, really. Like, nobody talked about it. Certainly none of these AMC pumper YouTubers talked about, hey, yeah, our buddy Matt Kohrs made $500,000 on you idiots. Nobody said that. So we said that. And, you know, hey, whatever. It didn't change anything. But I know that we were looking at that kind of shit. So that rubs me the wrong way. If people want to give him money, that's fine, you know, whatever. But it's, but then again, sometimes he does say things that are, so I think that kind of tells me that maybe he does know better. I don't know. Who knows? But we don't give Matt Kohrs much attention here. He's irrelevant at this point. He really is.
Better. But instead, I want that group to come back to the forefront of what's going on here.
Lynn,
legitimate
with the super chat. Thank you. If it's obvious, it's obviously wrong. Okay, that's the quote. And that comes from the same guy who invented the on-balance volume indicator that the apes love to misinterpret and say that, oh, it shows that nobody's selling. Well, no, but when something is so obvious that everybody knows it, there's a good chance it's wrong. And especially this kind of thing, if everybody is bullish on something, and you're the market, you have a lot of capital, you are, you have some influence, let's say, are you going to do everything you can to make sure that all these people over here, make money and you lose money? Or are you going, so if it's obvious, it's obviously wrong. I love that quote. Thanks, Lynn. Thanks for bringing that back.
Things where we're like, hey, this is like our regulatory filing with the SEC. Here's what's going on. Here's our evidence. But instead, it's a lot of people, they're just chasing like the fucking boogeyman. And what they don't realize and I've said this before and I like wholeheartedly believe it, they're just fucking sheep. That's what they are. It's people who have no critical thought. They've heard a couple terms. They put it together. They're going to say whatever they can to like farm on Twitter, to upvote farm on Reddit, to maybe get a couple more views on YouTube. They'll push hopium, and that's it. That's their methodology. They're not trying to actually teach people about the markets. They're not actually trying to learn themselves about the markets. They're not actually trying to fix some of the nefarious loopholes within the market.
True,
they would rather just sit there and like say dumb shit. And
but I've said this consistently. I said it more last year, probably. Yeah, Matt's flip-flopping all over the place. I don't really appreciate that. But let me say this. I feel like Frankie. Man, let me say this. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm kind of retarded. Let me say this, though. All this stuff about the market, well, let's see. What do you say?
And that's it. That's their methodology. They're not trying to actually teach people about the markets. They're not actually trying to learn themselves about the markets. They're not actually trying to fix some of the nefarious loopholes within the market.
Fix some of the nefarious loopholes within the market. That's where, I kind of get off the train, because it's like, there's loopholes. It's called capitalism. It's called a system where the motherfuckers with the most money have more influence than you do. That's the way it fucking is. In anything. Is it fair? No. Is it the way it is? Yes. Does it mean that you have to be a poor fuck the rest of your life? No. Does it mean that you have no power, you can't do anything? Absolutely not. So all of this focusing on these perceived loopholes and crime and all this shit, It's completely the wrong thing to focus on. Even if it is, even if it's there, even if it is there, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I made more, $700 this morning in less than an hour on one trade. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, I don't care if there's fucking crime. I'm here to make money. And if I can do that, then great. If I consistently don't do that, then, I feel like shit, whatever. But I mean, so it doesn't matter. That's what I'm getting at here. It doesn't matter. That shit, I mean, you try to fight corruption in a corporate capitalist system, you're kind of like missing the point. You're not really, you're gonna, I don't know. That's just my take on it. I mean, it's the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules, and that's the way it is. And if why has nobody sued anybody on Wall Street in this? Because they would get absolutely fucking vaporized. Wall Street has the best, the most powerful lawyers and legal teams that you can imagine. They will squash anything that stands in their way. Anything. Like, they fight everything. You don't even hear about most of it, because it's like a blip on the fucking screen for them. They just bulldoze it because that's the way the fucking shit works. Is it perfect? No. Is it fair? No. The world isn't fair. There's no guarantees, especially in the stock market. But if you let go of that stupid ego that these guys have and think that he's 24 fucking years old and he's talking about the loopholes in the market and unfairness and shit. Like, go fuck yourself. You are focusing on the wrong shit. And that's why you need to be on YouTube still. Getting, how many subscribers? He has 350. Well, Trey has more. But that's why you're still on YouTube talking about trading and not just making money trading. Plain and simple. Because you're still focused on the wrong shit. All right, off the soapbox.
They would rather just sit there and say dumb shit.
Doesn't matter.
And whenever presented with a counter argument or a piece of critical thought,
but I mean, this is
you
true,
can see
though,
their brain actually fucking short circuit. It's crazy. It's unhealthy. And I truly pray that the larger majority of the community is in here to learn, to right some of the wrongs.
I don't think that the larger community is.
Have some respect. I hope they take control again, because some of the shit that goes on, with this being an example that's kind of triggered my whole rant here, my whole soliloquy.
Look at that.
It's kind of an embarrassment.
No comments.
And by kind of, I mean a full fucking on embarrassment.
I mean, it is an embarrassment. See, it's like, man, yeah, that was actually a very good observation, not squoze yet. Matt changes just like a candlestick. In this market, he changes like a goddamn candlestick on the S&P 500. It'll be way up, and then it'll be way down, and then it'll end right in the middle. And then the next one, or it'll be way down, and then I hit the cat. I was doing these gestures with my hand, and I'm sorry, buddy. It'll be way up, be way down, and the next one will be way up, and it's like, okay, yeah. What's the rhyme or reason here? That's basically what that's almost perfectly Matt kohrs. Because it's like, I'm going to go long. Yeah. We're in an uptrend. I'm going long. I agree with Matt. Oh, he came to oh, shit, no. Oh, fuck, it's a big red candle. Oh, fuck, and I just went long. Oh, shit, now I don't have any trades left, and I'm stuck. Oh, man, Matt kohrs is still an idiot. Yeah, it's perfect. Actually, that's a good analogy, man. Good analogy. All right, well, let's see. Shit, I'm not prepared. At least the connection seems to have straightened itself out, of course, just in time for me to do this. Not prepared, just in time for me to do this. So, I don't know. This shit's crazy, man.
Roll another blunt, man.
Roll another blunt, man. These are good times. Not advocating any substance abuse. But if you were, probably take the edge off of this. Probably take the anger away. Anyway, guys, thanks for checking out my live stream. See, what is today? Tuesday. So we have Thursday. Thursday we have the ISDA Phase 6 coming in, and it's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything on Thursday. It's not going to do anything ultimately. I don't believe. I read about it, and it's like all of these things, all of these catalysts like this. Another one that's very similar in scope is the Chinese military stocks ban or whatever. The apes and the ape influencers, they want to believe that Wall Street and institutions, hedge funds, whatever, market participants, institutional traders, that they're as behind, the 8 ball as they are. They want to believe that they procrastinate as much as they do, and that they're as sloppy and not attentive to detail as they are. But the reality is, this stuff it doesn't come out of nowhere. They know about this. They've known about this. This is part of the Dodd-Frank legislation that was a result of 2008 great financial crisis. This is one of the reforms that was part of that law, that bill. And so it's been in the works for a long time. They've known about it. Furthermore, there are very concrete steps that they have to take to prepare for this. They've been preparing for it. It's been in the process being implemented for a number of years. So if you actually go and look at that stuff, you will find that, nothing actually is going to happen on Thursday. Like, there's not, it's a process. It's not like a binary thing. Oh, this day they're going to owe a lot of money. No, it doesn't work like that. Also, some positions are grandfathered and they don't even have to have initial margin. Beyond that, we're not talking about stocks and options here. We're not talking about stocks and options. We're talking about swaps. Which, it is true that Archegos, they got in trouble with swaps. And certainly they're out there. But it's so far removed from the retail investor experience, I don't think it's relevant. I don't think it's relevant at all. I just don't. And beyond that, it applies to registered swap dealers, which I looked them up to, and there's, I don't know, a couple dozen of them or whatever. It's basically the prime brokers. That they have clients who trade these swaps. They're over-the-counter swaps as well, and they're uncleared. So, meaning they don't go through the DTCC clearing. It's complicated. It's more. It's not as simple as, oh, they're going to have margin calls. See, that's what the apes wish, is that there would be something that would cause a margin call. But even something that's called initial margin isn't going to cause a margin call because they don't understand margin calls. Anyway, that's the end of the song. Hey, I want to say thanks, Ariel, for being here. I appreciate you. Hopefully we gain a subscriber. We'll see. Also, everybody is invited to our Telegram chat group. It's not a scam. I don't know why Telegram gets a bad rap. Telegram is actually a pretty good open source chat platform, unlike Discord. It's open source, and the code is available. You can write your own client for it if you want. It's also encrypted. I'm not suggesting anybody do anything illegal, but it is encrypted. Anyway, that link is in the description. It's also at the bottom. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's there too. And, yeah. I think that's about it. So anyway, all this stuff about Thursday, we'll check in on Thursday and see what didn't happen, and see what they say. And there'll be some explanation. It's crime, Ken Griffin is responsible somehow for it. We're also I think the only channel that's the only channel that actually doesn't hate Ken Griffin, like tries to learn things from Ken Griffin and understand like his business and whatnot. So I saw that there was a new Ken Griffin interview. We might have to check that out too. So if that hasn't scared everybody off, thoughts on Bed Bath & Beyond real quick. It's a meme stock, it's, you saw, what was it? Let's see, where's my charts? Let's see, I think I have it over here. Watch list. I mean, I'll say what I always say about everything. Don't risk more money than you can afford to lose. If you do that, you'll be fine on anything. But yeah, it's a meme stock. That's about all I could say. Restructuring news tomorrow. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I'm not saying that. Here's the thing. Any stock's going to go up. Like, there's going to be pops. There's going to be rallies. There's going to be that kind of stuff. Can you time it? That's hard. Even on something like this. Like, what caused this? I mean, well, this was probably part of the broader market rallying, whatever. We call it short covering, whatever. But you see how quickly it collapsed. So you just have to be quick if you're going to do something like this. Also, Trey likes to talk about, this was the low here. This was blah, blah, blah. Well, you didn't know it was the low at the time. It could have kept on going down for all you knew. So it's really risky. If that's it. How much risk can you tolerate, and how much, again, don't risk more than you can afford to lose, and think about, if it doesn't go your way, take the, small loss rather than losing the whole position. But I think ultimately this is a loser. It's another company that's seen better. Its best days are behind it. It's a brick and mortar store. Nobody, I mean, last time you bought a coffee maker, or a vacuum cleaner or anything, did you go to Bed Bath & Beyond? I mean, 20 years ago, yeah. Now, probably not. Probably not, for a variety of reasons. So I now having said that, if it rallies up, if it gets back up to 30, I'd probably short it or play or buy puts, maybe. And Antoinette, who's here, maybe, she made a lot of money with puts. And I was skeptical of the puts, too. Not because I thought the stock was going to go up, but mechanics of it, I didn't know if it was going to work out. So I didn't not get involved, but she made a lot of money. So that's another thing. Sometimes on these things, the best thing to do is to wait for the irrationality to hit and then fade it. Play it on the downside. Because if there's one thing that this should have taught people, is that when stocks do this, a lot, generally speaking, when bullshit stocks like Bed Bath & Beyond and Nokia and fucking BlackBerry and shit like that, AMC, GameStop, I mean, for God's fucking sake, when these types of stocks do this, when they go up like this, they always come down. Like, one goddamn thing is sure, as the sun rises tomorrow, is that when they pop up like this, they come down just as quickly. So that's what I say. You just have to be quick, or get the hit something near the top and buy a put and come down, or put spread or something and enjoy that. But yeah, this, I don't know. I mean, it could, I don't know. Who knows? But just be careful. Don't be stupid with it. That's all. Lynn would marry Ken Griffin. Blockbuster 2.0. Model 3 dude. Yeah, I mean, and how long has it been since they've been profitable? You know, all that kind of stuff. So let's see who else we got in here. I got to get going. I stayed up way too late last night. I'm way too late. I mean, I'm not even going to say it's embarrassing. I don't know how the hell I woke up this morning. I honestly thought that I was going to sleep until 11:30 again, like I did that one day, and I hate that. Like 5 hours late to work. So I'm going to cut it off here. But Ariel, if you want to talk this stuff, join the chat and stuff. You know, it's like 24/7, you know, nerd about the stock market. Be successful. It's not a very specific piece of advice, but it's just like you have to be obsessed with it and like get into these like stupid details and you know it drives you crazy. But anyway, I'll catch you guys on Thursday. We'll check out the ISDA thing and go from there. Have a good one. Good night.